Well lived. We're counting down to tip-off of Arizona basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Wildcats have returned to the Midwest for their inaugural participation in the Big 12 Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. We greet you from courtside here in downtown Kansas City, where the Arizona Wildcats will take on the Kansas Jayhawks. KJ down full court left out to Bryant. Spot up for a three. Good again. Carter Bryant drains his second.
Yeah, beautiful finder by KJ Lewis to our Carter Bryant trailing in transition.
Bradley driving the other way on Mayo, stops at the right elbow, leave it off for Vasar, runs into Dickinson, turns, and puts it in, and he's fouled. Henry Vasar going right at Hunter Dickinson, and a steal by KJ Lewis. Lewis going to streak the other way, lay it up and good. That'll put a capper on it.
Beautiful play there. What a way to finish it off. KJ Lewis has played so well tonight.
Inbounds Bradley, no foul. Wildcats on to the semifinals tomorrow night. Final score here in Kansas City, Arizona 88, Kansas 77. The Big 12 basketball tournament rolls on into the semifinals as the Arizona Wildcats take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the sounds of T-Mobile Center, downtown KC, Game 14 of the Big 12 Championships. Tonight's winner will advance to the title game tomorrow and probably face the number one seed Houston Cougars. To Vasar, dump it inside. Townsend open, lays it in.
Really nice job there by Arizona in terms of running their high-low offense.
Love drives him down right. Step back, shot is up. Hits another three for Caleb Love. Out to Lewis, KJ drives right, jumper up and good. He makes difficult shots look easy. Rebound chased down by Caleb Love, and now that's it. 2 seconds, 1 second, over. Cats on to the championship tomorrow.
Can we call it the battle for the last rib? I think that's what I'm going to call it. It is the Big 12 Conference Championship Basketball Saturday in Kansas City, Arizona, who for so many years dominated the Pac-12, the Pac-10, and the Pac-12 conference tournaments, has a chance in their first year of the Big 12 Conference Tournament to be the last team standing and get the automatic bid. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We're getting you set for the finals in Kansas City at the T-Mobile Center. Houston, the number 2 team in the country, Arizona, and the number 3 seed in this tournament. We've got you for the next 3 hours till 2:30. Tip-off today is 3 o'clock in Kansas City. Let's let you know what we've got in store for you over the course of the next 3 hours of our program.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll take a look back at a 6-point win in the Pac. Still doing it. Big 12 semifinals over Texas Tech. We'll take our first look at the Houston Cougars, the regular season conference champions. Your first look at the game, as always, is brought to you by Window Depot. Spotlight on a cat. KJ Lewis was all over the place last night for your Arizona Wildcats. Brian Jeffries chatted with him after the game. We don't have DK with TL today, but we do have a little DK with Trey. A few questions I got in recently to Trey Townsend. We'll talk some defense with Trey, and we'll find out. We never really got a chance to hear from Trey about that final play at BYU. So I'll ask him about that. Who will be that Cougar that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today? There are a lot of options for that, for sure. Best bets up on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Arizona, a significant underdog today at 6 points. U of A getting 6. And, of course, when you play one of the best defensive teams in the country, the over-under is going to be low, and it sits today at 136.5. All right, 86-80 was the final on Friday night at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Arizona knocking off an injury-depleted team from Lubbock, Texas, the Red Raiders. Let's hear the first thoughts after the game from your head coach, Tommy Lloyd.
great job by our guys. Obviously Texas Tech's playing shorthanded, and they've, kind of had to, had some delicate, situations with injuries over the course of this year, and obviously we didn't know what was going to happen until we kind of showed up at the arena. But I knew it was going to be tough. I mean, they beat Houston without Toppin at Houston. They didn't have, they didn't have the two guys, the Williams and Chance, McMillan, when they played Houston at home and played them tough. So I knew it was going to be a hard game, and our guys did a great job just finding a way. And it wasn't easy. They were tough. They fought us every step of the way, and they made those early threes, and then they did a really good job of just putting foul pressure on us and getting to the free throw line, and then they were great on the offensive glass. So, but all in all, I'm proud of our guys for hanging with it and making enough winning plays to come out on top.
Absolutely. I mean, the Wildcats were led in the game by their star, Caleb Love. He had 27 points, 10 of 15 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3. He added 5 rebounds to go with that. Caleb Love on his big night in KC.
I think it was just the energy of the game. I started off obviously, hot, but I just wanted to get that spark to my team, and I know, they was going to, follow up with that. And so, I had it going, but, as the game was flowing, KJ chipped in. We had big numbers from Trey, and, it went on, from there.
Caleb Love starting to kind of see the end of the tunnel on this college career and hopefully beginning to raise his game to a new level. Joined as always by my guys. We've got Kelvin Efon. He is the captain. We've got J.W. Madden as well. And guys, when Caleb Love plays like that, I mean, Arizona, it goes from being a team that maybe is good enough to get to the Sweet 16 to a team that is definitely a possibility to get to San Antonio in the Final Four.
Yeah, we always talk about it, and we say guard play is what the tournament is about. And when you have a guy like Caleb Love that at any point could get you big numbers, what it really does is it makes the other team focus and try to think about stopping him, which give the other guys a chance and opportunities to score. You can't stop everything, but you have to go into that game, especially with 1 day notice, or should I say 18-hour notice. You have to go into that game plan trying to stop the best player. You can't try to say, well, we need to do this to Del Orso and we need to do this to Vasor. No, your game plan from the top is slow down Caleb Love. So when he plays well, it just makes it tougher on the next team up that they have to play against.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, you think about the great names, the Kemba Walkers, Steph Curry dragged the Davidson team all the way to the Elite Eight. Those guards who can knock down big shots, especially late in shot clocks, are the ones who carry teams. However, the biggest impact Caleb Love has when he's on and when he's shooting efficiently is that all the other guys are going to get cleaner looks. And when all the other guys get cleaner looks and their confidence goes up, then you have an entire team playing up with offensive confidence. Love to see Caleb Love shooting 50% or above, DK. More of that, please. That's exactly what we need. That's exactly what Arizona needs this time of year.
Well, and you talk about the guard play, and obviously, it's Caleb Love, but at least in the last 2 games, it has also been KJ Lewis for this team.
The finisher, Kelvin, the finisher.
I mean, we already know him as the defensive player, so that energy is always there. He always brings that regardless of if he turns over the ball or if he's missing shots. But when he's attacking, that's what the difference is. He's not 1 for 5 from the three-point or 1 for 4 because he never really shoots more than 4. But 0 for 4 for 1 for 4, he's attacking, getting downhill. So that puts him in a situation now to where he's putting free throw pressure on the other team, foul pressure on the other team, and which, again, takes guys off the court, especially at this time of the year when people are only playing 6 to 7 guys. If you can get a guy or 2 in foul trouble, you change the dynamic of the game.
Yeah, it seems like the last couple games, guys, the reason I said finisher is he's gotten so much more aggressive down the stretch. And I'm looking at the highlights from the Kansas game. It says Love, Townsend, Mayo, Love, Vasar, KJ. The last 4 highlights are all KJ Lewis. So he's really being a lot more aggressive, especially with that mid-range stuff. Really great to see him, Kelvin, being more assertive down the stretch, especially because he can get that shot off anytime he wants.
All right, there were some injuries on the Texas Tech side last night as Grant McCaslin did not have Darian Williams. He did not have Chance McMillan. The head coach talked about having to go out there without 2 of his best guards.
start with Chance. I mean, he obviously didn't play the second half of the game yesterday. And, I have no expectation other than let's just do everything we can to put ourselves in position to win and let's see to play and let's see if we can play. And so Chance last night was in pretty severe pain. And then this morning he woke up and he was like definitive that he could not play. And our hope is that we do get him back for the NCAA tournament, though. And then Darian Williams was in a similar boat. I mean, if you saw him last night, he was limping pretty much the entire second half and trying to play through it. And then when he got up this morning, he didn't do much in the walkthrough and then tried to warm up and said he couldn't go. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was a master plan. Honestly, we just tried to prepare him as best we could to play today. And then if he and the training staff didn't feel like they could go, they couldn't go. And so we weren't holding them out, to be honest. I mean, we just really felt like those guys, if they could play, they would. And neither one of them felt like they could do what they needed to do in order to put themselves in position. But they also know we need to be healthy for next week. And so our hope is that we get both of them back, and that's the expectation.
Well, that's the way you want to be, as healthy as you can, obviously, going into the postseason. Even without those two guys in the lineup, we saw some other guys that really stepped to the forefront. Kevin Overton's really not a name we've talked about a lot. He hit 4 threes, was 7 of 14, scored 20 points. Christian Anderson, we talked about him in the pregame show as maybe being one of those guys that was going to have to step up for Texas Tech with those injuries, and he did so, scoring 19 points in that ball game. Caleb Love and KJ Lewis came away impressed with the rest of the guys than the way the Red Raiders stepped up for their injured compadres.
Obviously, it was different personnel, but different personnel. They really good players. They still had, their role players, showed up. Kevin Overton, he had 20 points. So, they stepped up. And so, our game plan didn't change as far as, who we was guarding and things like that. But we just adjusted, and, we came out on top.
I mean, they're a tough group regardless of, who's out and who's playing. And there's much respect to those guys and that coaching staff. Like Coach Lloyd said, they're known for winning without, players being in the lineup, and, they played us to the end of the game. So much respect to them.
Yeah, fellas, my biggest takeaway from this entire tournament is infinitely more respect for Grant McCaslin. I already knew he was a great coach, but you can talk about those guys stepping up. But Kelvin, that coaching staff, having the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th guys on that bench prepared when they lose 2 starters and the best player in the entire league is getting sick in the first half and he's not at 100%, the way those other guys stepped into the roles and only a 6-point loss to a really inspired and motivated Arizona team. I mean, Grant McCaslin had those guys ready, Kelvin Ifan.
Yeah, and he take care of those guys. He recruited those guys personally. And when you have those personal relationships and bonds, there's nothing those guys won't do for you. They'll run through a wall for you. As I said before, they're not the highest ranked guys in the world, and he gave them the opportunity. They earned the opportunity to come and play at Texas Tech in the Big 12 University. You just think about a guy like Toppin, not recruited highly out of Dallas, went to the University of New Mexico, and you give him an opportunity to play there for you at Texas Tech, and now he's the Big 12 Player of the Year. What that does is that make guys believe in you. They saw the work that he did with these the certain players on the team, what he did with Toppin, and it just makes them believe. So that's how he got those guys locked in.
JT Toppin was not at his best, not feeling well, still played 25 minutes. He went 4 of 13, scored 11 points, grabbed 6 rebounds. Maybe not the player of the year, JT Toppin, but Caleb Love said, hey, he was still JT Toppin.
I wouldn't chalk it up to much coaching. I would chalk it up to having competitive guys. They just have a knack for hanging in games, Texas Tech does, and kind of making a big 3 here and there, getting an offensive rebound put back, and they feel it's so timely. And our guys did a great job for the most part answering all of those. And, I think they cut it to 4. I think, but late down the stretch there, so it was late, but we did a good job kind of holding them off enough and just giving ourselves enough cushion. If we made 1 or 2 more plays, it was going to be tough for them to get over the top.
That was Tommy Lloyd, obviously talking about his guys making big plays down the stretch. Let's hear from Caleb Love on JT Toppin.
He's a Big 12 Player of the Year. So, obviously our attention was on him. And, we got to give him the respect that he deserves. And, you know, obviously he's a monster on the boards, a monster in the post. So, you know, we had to, you know, come in and, you know, play as hard as we can and, you know, to keep him off the glass and, to, you know, make every shot tough for him.
Texas Tech had made 15 three-pointers in their quarterfinal win the night before over Baylor. The Wildcats held them to 9 of 28, just 32%. Last night in the game, I mentioned Kevin Overton had 4 of those 9. Tommy Lloyd on his three-point defense against the Red Raiders.
I wouldn't chalk it up to much coaching. You know, I would chalk it up to having competitive guys. You know, they just have a knack for hanging in games, Texas Tech does, and kind of making a big three here and there, you know, getting an offensive rebound put back, and it just they feel it's so timely. And our guys did a great job for the most part answering all of those. And, you know, I think they cut it to 4. You know, I think, but late down the stretch there, so it was late. But like we did a good job, kind of holding them off enough and just giving ourselves enough cushion. If we made 1 or 2 more plays, it was going to be tough for them to get over the top.
All right, that is a look back at the 86-80 win for your Arizona Wildcats over the Texas Tech Red Raiders. We've got much more in store for you coming up as we take you till 2:30 this afternoon. We'll hand it over to the network. Brian Jeffries, Reggie Gary will have the call of the Arizona Wildcats' first appearance in the Big 12 Tournament Championship when they take on the number 2 team in the country, the Houston Cougars. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day with Calvin Efont and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Poston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
Looking to upgrade your home? The Window Depot is your go-to spot for Milgard windows and patio doors. Select from a variety of styles, including aluminum, vinyl, or fiberglass, to start your journey to a brighter, more beautiful home. The Window Depot has Milgard windows in stock, ready to go home today, or their team can help you with a special order. Whether you're looking for energy efficiency, aesthetic appeal, or custom solutions, they've got you covered. Build the home you deserve with Milgard windows and doors from the Window Depot. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thama Automation.
Do
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
It's still free furnace season. For a limited time until the last day of winter, you can get a free furnace with the purchase and installation of a qualifying HVAC system. Now is the time to start planning for the long, hot Tucson summer. Hurry, this deal won't last long. For fast, reliable, and honest service, call Pictureox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or pictureoxcooling.com.
Pictureox Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Ahead to Uzan, finds the trailer, sharp left wing three, got it, and a foul. Emmanuel Sharp fouled on the attempt, hits the three, and will go to the free throw line looking for a 4-point play. Uzan goes away from the screen, kick out Sharp, right wing three, got it. Emmanuel Sharp hits the three, snaps the drought in the 7-0 BYU run as Houston leads by double digits again. Sharp off the Francis screen. He'll launch it off the dribble. Three. Got it. Back-to-back threes by Emmanuel Sharp. He's got 19 for the second night in a row.
Time now to take our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices, biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. Emmanuel Sharp clearly might be one of those guys who's a candidate for best of the game coming up a little bit later. I think it's going to probably come down to Emmanuel Sharp and Caleb Love for MVP of this tournament if, depending on who wins today. He has scored 45 points in 2 games in Kansas City. I mean, he has really, really put on a show.
And 45 points for the Cougars is that's like dog years, right? Right. That's like more like 100 points for a regular
I mean, this
team.
is a guy who has 19 and 26, and he only averages 13 on the season.
What I'm saying is they don't need many points, Kelvin, to win games.
Yeah, no.
So 45 from your leading scores a lot.
I mean, he's the epitome of what Tommy was talking about when he said all the guys are shooting here like they're shooting in Maui. He's made 9 out of 14 from 3 in this tournament. He didn't have 9. You see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. You got to go back put 6 games together to come together with 9 made threes.
It's that time of year, Kelvin.
Coming into this
guy's got to step up.
Yeah, he was 3 for 13 in his prior 3 games before that.
Yeah, if you're going to step up, this is the time to do it.
Indeed it is. Emmanuel Sharp hit a couple of back-to-back threes you heard there late to kill a BYU run. I mean, if you want to call it a run, I mean, they got as close as 13, and he quickly made it again 19. But Emmanuel on those 2 threes to kill BYU's momentum.
We knew they were going to go on a run. We just had to, survive it. And, we made some dumb plays, me included, at the beginning of the second half. And that's really what it was. Once we cracked down on that, we started playing better. Once we made better decisions, that led to us getting baskets and, kind of putting the fire out a little bit. But, yeah, There wasn't much to it, just cracking down on mistakes.
And this is the best three-point shooting team in the conference, the Houston Cougars. They took 26 shots from behind the arc in that big win, 20-point win last night over BYU. Head coach Kelvin Sampson said that was just pretty much the byproduct of the defense that the Cougars, the BYU Cougars, the Blue Cougars, were playing against them.
I think we're the number one three-point percentage shooting team in the league, if I'm not mistaken. But look at who the guys that were shooting it. You know, L.J. Cryer's has made 90-some threes this year. Emmanuel Sharp probably would have made 90-some, but he was injured and missed a bunch of games with injury. And then who's the other one? Milos. I mean, all those guys are all 40% three-point shooters. So I like their fearlessness, and they all have the freedom to make the right play.
Oh, ho hum! Just another team with multiple guys that shoots over 40%
Kelvin, how do you like
from
it
three.
when a coach says freedom for the guards?
Yeah, no, it's a certain type of freedom. It's an understood freedom when you're talking about an old school coach like that. You're going to be wide open, and also now if the shot clock is late, you know, I guarantee you he don't mind L.J. Cryer taking one of those.
Yeah, I like how the player, he says, we made some dumb plays to start the second half. And the coach says, I'm giving these guards freedom. So there's a combination between those two concepts, which is you teach intelligence and understanding of what your philosophies are during the week. And once the game's tipped off, Coach Olson, Kelvin Efon, was that exact same way. It was all about teaching throughout the week. And once the game came, once the ball tipped up, the freedom for those guards to make their own choices with that knowledge and understanding of what the philosophies of the team's trying to do. I mean, that's the best, most beautiful basketball.
And I'll say this, then the one thing that confuses me is how they only have 9 turnovers, which is great, but only 8 assists. So they tell you what they're doing. They have a bunch of one-on-one players that can beat you at any time, and they move the ball around to those guys looking for matchups. That's why Del Arso better watch out.
Well, that's how they won in Tucson, right? Miles Uzan, like down the stretch, was just, you know, a lot of midi stuff, a lot of getting to the rim. So they got the freedom. If they see a hole and they can attack, they're going to attack.
This is obviously the championship game, 3 games in 3 days, kind of like what the Wildcats experienced down in Maui. This has gone much better, obviously, than that situation. Yesterday, we heard from Grant McCaslin just kind of how you approach this. Do you rest guys? That kind of a thing. And Tommy Lloyd was kind of asked the same style of question, and he basically gave the same style of answer as his buddy Grant McCaslin.
If we're going to play a game, we're going to try to win. I mean, I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart to throw a game to think we're going to play good next Thursday or Friday. If we have Arizona on our chest and we have the dudes we have, we're playing to win, and that's how we roll. So we're not overthinking that. You know, I mean, hey, we know it's going to be a heck of a challenge.
I just meant, too, that just getting momentum, how critical is that for this team?
I mean, listen, we could get our ass kicked. I mean, it's great coming down here and getting 2 wins against 2 really good teams. I mean, you beat Kansas in Kansas City, that says something. You beat a Texas Tech team that found a way to take second in the conference, that says something. So now, you know, now we got the champ. We're staring down the champ, and let's see what we got.
Let's see what we got indeed. Houston leads the all-time series against Arizona 7-6 after they defeated the Wildcats here in Tucson earlier this year by 4, 62-58. You can go back to just 2 years ago. Houston ended Arizona's run in the Sweet 16, 2022. If I'm not mistaken, that was Tommy's first season helming this program. They beat the Wildcats down in San Antonio 72-60 in that particular ball game. And look, Kelvin Sampson, though, was very clear about what this game actually is all about.
The game tomorrow night doesn't determine the Big 12 champion. The regular season determines the Big 12 champion. That's why you play 20 games. You know, we played a game on December 30th, and we played the last one on March 8th. And over the course of 20 games, we decided who the Big 12 champion was.
Just for the record, DK, This is contrived media garbage. And I'll tell you why. It's because 25, 30 years ago, the four-letter got the rights to all the postseason tournaments. So what did they do? They hyped it up as the champion of the conference to try to get more eyeballs on the screens. So this idea of the 3 games is going to decide who the champion, Kelvin, is of the conference, that's never been the case. The champion of the conference is the one who goes through 3 months, week in, week out. Hopefully, if you're not playing in a 25-team league, getting a chance to play everybody else in your league, and that determines who the best team in the conference is. There is no doubt that the regular season champion is the champion of the conference.
All right, before we hear some more from Tommy Lloyd and Caleb Love, let's pause 10 seconds here for station identification. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden, my name is David Kelly. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. The Big 12 Tournament Championship will take place today in Kansas City. It is your Arizona Wildcats, the number 3 seed in this tournament, unranked, against the number 2 team in the country and the number 1 seed. They are the Houston Cougars. They are the champions of this conference in the regular season. They went 19-1. Kelvin Sampson has pretty much won everywhere he's gone. Washington State, Indiana, Oklahoma, Houston hasn't yet taken the Cougars to the Final Four, but he certainly has the team to do that. Tommy Lloyd with an immense amount of respect for the guy that stands at the other end of the sideline.
It's a great honor to compete against a guy like, Kelvin. And I hope, as I grow in my coaching career, and I hope I get a good stretch of competing against him, because I think it's going to make me a better coach. And, so I got a lot of respect for him and his program.
Obviously, Tommy grew up in Washington State, and that was where Kelvin Sampson started his career as a head coach. This is his 11th season coaching this team.
I do have a slight correction. He won at Montana Tech. He won at Oklahoma. He won at Indiana. He won at Houston. Washington State, 103-103 was his final record there. Literally 500.
That's pretty good. That's probably pretty good at the back of the day.
I'm just saying he wasn't. He was exactly 500 at Washington State. Exactly 500.
And again, this is a guy that has won some Big 12 tournament championships, or at least won some Big 12 conference, I should say. Championships, and has won, I believe now, that's the 21st in this program's history for Kelvin Sampson. Arizona trying to win their first in this conference. What does it mean for this team to be in this game? Caleb Love?
It means a lot. We plan for something bigger than ourselves, plan for the, players that play, before us and things like that. And so we take pride in that. And, we're going to come in and play as hard as we can, come in, try to execute the game plan as best as we can. And, we'll see what the outcome, comes from that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for sure. It's the title game of the conference tournament is a place that this program is used to playing in. And today will be it'll obviously have a little bit of a different feel. But I've seen, I watched a few videos this morning. The Daily Wildcat folks are out there, and they're posting up some good content. They had a bunch of U of A fans that they had gotten that were cheering. It's not going to be, again, we talked about it last night, it's not going to be the type of atmosphere we saw in Los Angeles or Las Vegas, but I think that as our lives in this conference grows, hopefully we'll begin to see more and more U of A people in that building in Kansas City. Because, again, there's folks that like it. There's folks that don't like it. There was one reporter who posted a panoramic picture 5 minutes before the tip-off of the first semifinal, and the building was three-quarters empty last night. So, we'll hopefully let you hear a little bit later something else that Kelvin Sampson said just about the makeup of this tournament. And just to paraphrase what he said, he basically called this the Kansas-Iowa State Invitational.
Yeah.
Because they are the two biggest fan bases. They bring the most people to this tournament, And then when everybody else is playing, it's not as crowded in the facility as maybe you would hope it to be.
Kelvin, do you know the numbers? I said it last night right after you left, but Kansas has 12 wins in this tournament. Right. Iowa State has 6, and Oklahoma State has 2, and that's it. Of the teams of the 16 teams currently in this conference. Now, teams that left, Oklahoma won 3, Texas won 2, Missouri won 2. But Kansas has 12 wins in the Big 12 tournament. Iowa State has 6, Oklahoma State has 2, and no other team has ever won the Big 12 tournament. So why are Iowa State and Kansas fans so juiced to go to Kansas City to watch this tournament? Because they always win it.
And I was going to say, after Arizona, you're moving over to a new conference. You got your fans who used to going to Vegas, right? Now, all of a sudden, you got to go to Kansas City, and you're not sure how the team is going to perform. They're going in 4th. And you're looking at Houston, you're looking at Texas Tech, you're looking at Kansas just beating them. And you would have had to get your tickets earlier than that, But still, I think some people may not have believed that you were going to be in this position to win the championship. So I think if you mess around and win it this year, people are not going to want to miss that opportunity going forward.
It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. It is the Big 12 Tournament Championship, Arizona versus Houston. And that's our first look at today's Arizona Wildcats men's basketball game. The first look at the game is brought to you by Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com. And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every game. It's the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Could be somebody from the other team. We'll tell you the Window Depot Glass Cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day post-game show. Much more straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. Maybe a few family ones, too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thama Autumn Nation.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Stops left elbow, out to Lewis. KJ drives right, jumper up and good. He makes difficult shots look easy. And a steal by KJ Lewis. Lewis going to streak the other way, lay it up and good. That'll put a capper on it.
Our pregame show, Spotlight on a Cat, is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. KJ Lewis has been big in this tournament. 15 points last night, 4 of 12 from the floor. Didn't necessarily shoot it well, but got to the line with his aggressiveness and hit 7 of 9 there. But it was everything else he did as well to go along with those 15 points. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, did turn it over 4 times, but had 3 blocks and 2 steals. Those last 2 stat categories, really the ones that you love to see. From KJ Lewis. 34 points now in this tournament to go along with 19. My computer's acting slowly. 34 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, 6 steals, and 3 blocks over the 2 games this week in Kansas City. And 13 of 16 from the line. Stocks, steals, and blocks.
Yep.
I like that for sure. Brian Jeffries, the voice of your Arizona Wildcats, going on year 37 or ending year 37, caught up with KJ Lewis after the game, after an 86-80 win in the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament for the Arizona Wildcats over the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
KJ Lewis going to join us here after another typical KJ game. I was just saying, I put the headsets on. KJ, I was saying this is just another KJ Lewis typical game. 15 points, 8 rebounds. Let's see, 3 block shots today, 2 steals. I mean, you just you have a way of filling up the box score. But first of all, congratulations on the win.
Yes, sir. It was a big one. Obviously, it was a gritty one down to the end. Our team's resilient. This is what these type of games come down to in March.
I got to ask, did you guys know that Texas Tech was down 2 starters before the game started?
No, we did not. We were expecting a full loaded Texas Tech squad. But credit to those guys. 2 of their best players down, and they still fought to the end. Big performances from their role players, and much respect to that coaching staff and that team.
I mean, you always play hard. That's one thing we love about you. But it seems in the last couple of weeks you've found another gear. Do you feel it?
Definitely. It's win or go home at this point. And we know what we want to accomplish. Our team is starting to figure it out on defense again. We're just going to take it day by day. Obviously we got a tough team tomorrow, and we're going to have to play with a chip on our shoulder, and it's going to come down to a full 40-minute game.
So you've been through a conference tournament before, of course, in the Pac-12. But some of the guys now, Carter Bryant, for example, it's their first time around. What do you think they've learned here in the last 2 nights?
That every team's going to give their best punch to the end of the game. The Big 12 is definitely different than the Pac-12. I think Carter, he's realizing how physical it is here. But he's adjusting, he's adapting, and, that's what teammates are for. We got his back, and he's just going to continue to grow down the stretch.
You see Caleb Love all the time.
Yeah.
How about tonight?
Man, we were over there joking on the bench, and it was just one of those days for him. Nothing new to us. We see the work he puts in and day out. And, it's our job to, help him, carry him. And then when he cools off a little bit, it's our job to, pick that back up for us.
Great job, KJ.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
See you tomorrow.
All right, that was KJ Lewis after the game last night with Brian Jeffries. With one more assist, KJ Lewis will join Jaden Bradley and Henry Vasar with 100 assists this season. How about that? Henry Vasar has over 100 assists for this team this year. I would not have, if you'd have told me that before I actually read that, I would not have probably realized that he was that high on the assist list for the Arizona Wildcats. But, again, Henry is that guy. We talked about that at the beginning of the season. It was one of the things I liked about him was his ability to pass the basketball. And we've definitely seen that this season. Wait, actually, that's not correct. I'm reading from the stats here, but the notes, but now I'm looking at the stats. It's actually Jaden Bradley and Caleb Love. I think they made a mistake there.
Both can be true, DK. Henry Vasar is a
Exactly.
great passer,
He
especially when he gets doubled, and he's not quite at 100 assists, but the multiple guys, I think the point being, when you have Trey Townsend, Carter Bryant, Henry Vasar, Del Orso, KJ, Caleb Love, and Jaden Bradley, all those guys have more than 30 assists on the season. And your top guys, obviously Bradley and Love, are the main assist guys, but it's really the whole team. And Kelvin, when everybody has that idea of finding each other, it's so much easier to give the ball up because you're going to get it back.
Yeah, and that's what you want to have, a team that understands everybody's strengths, and you want to move the ball, and when you see a guy in a spot where he can convert and make a bucket, you want to get the ball to him. That's just a part of basketball, because if you don't and he's standing there wide open, now that's where those feelings start to get involved, and now I won't help you on defense. I think sometimes people underestimate how much that really matters.
Right.
Understanding people, right? I'm wide open, and you don't pass me
We
the
made
ball.
eye contact, Kelvin. Like, you and I made eye contact 3 times in a row, and I'm over here in the corner with nobody on me, and you're not even looking at me?
Yeah, that's go. Now I'm start yelling, hey, ball, So it's just one of those things to where that chemistry of understanding that I need you on defense. I need you to rebound. I need you to set screens, right? And if you don't do those things, we're not going to be able to win. So I tell guys all the time, make that extra pass, man. Anytime you see someone open, make that pass to them because, hey, just like you miss, you got to give them opportunities to miss and fail also.
520-848-1290 is the number if you'd like to get in on the program today and let us know your thoughts on Arizona basketball. Text us at that number. Give us a call and join the show this morning as well. We've got you till 2:30. We just hit the noon hour. We got you till 2:30, and then we'll turn it over to the network ahead of the Arizona Wildcats and the Houston Cougars. KJ Lewis, we'll hear more from him coming up a little bit later, but for now, that is your Spotlight. That's today's Spotlight on a Cat. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. Five 520-848-1290. Our guy Fresh Shibe checks in from New Jersey this morning. He says, Coach, ESPN announcers, everyone said that Caleb Love had a great game Thursday, 11 points. That took pressure off, so great game on Friday. Everyone, especially Lloyd, seemed to say Caleb could be essential to the win, even only scoring 11. He played smart, a few mistakes that made him feel like he didn't have to score all the time with no pressure. Last night, he shot the ball very great. He did indeed do that, making 10 of 15. Is that 10? Would that be, I have to check that's maybe the high for him this season in terms of field goals.
It is the high.
Yeah.
He shot 65 versus TCU, but yeah, his 67% field goal percentage yesterday was the high for the season.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this: a lot of times, what people don't understand is the different way that they're playing you. That the Kansas game, they was doubling and forcing the ball out of his hands, so he made a lot of assists. This game, they played him to pass, so he was able to get it going offensively. That's why you seen him making those moves. He was looking for an open guy. Now you don't have an open guy. Now you step back into that shot, and now you have that going. It's really tough to stop him. So I think it's all about the way that the defenses play you, and he's doing a better job recognizing it.
And that's why if you're a fan out there and you just look at score, you look at how many points a guy scored, and that's how well he played. Well, that's why people say he played a great game against Kansas, guys. He had 6 assists and 1 turnover in 35 minutes. So it doesn't matter that he was 4 for 9. He took shots that the defense, again, take what the defense gives you. Caleb Love will always see extra defensive attention. Everybody knows. Everybody in the building knows. So obviously the opponent and coaching staff is going to know. He's going to get his shots up. But guys, 6 assists and 1 turnover versus Kansas is exactly what he needed to do. On the other side, like you just said, Kelvin, he got doubled versus Kansas, had more space versus Texas Tech, got busy early and was feeling it, and just let it fly. And that's what you got to do this time of year.
That was the 3rd time this year he has made 10 or more field goals in a game. He had done that at Oklahoma State back in January when he went 10 of 17, and he had done it at home against TCU when he went 11 of 17. So 3rd time that Caleb Love has shot more than 10 field goals or made more than 10 field goals in a particular game for Arizona. All right. I mentioned in the last segment, and this is I'm trying to see if we have time to get to this. We do. Because we have some shorter segments coming up.
Time.
But, yeah, so I mentioned earlier that Kelvin Sampson kind of talked about this tournament in Kansas City, and you heard Tommy Lloyd, you heard Grant McCassin yesterday. Are you playing all your guys? Are you resting guys? He said no. Tommy Lloyd said, hey, look, if we're playing, we're here to win it. Kelvin Sampson was asked about this tournament and if it's kind of like if it's relevant for NCAA teams that are already bound for the NCAA. This is kind of long, but bear with it because the coach is. I mean, he's an old coach, so he likes to talk, but he's got great things to say.
He likes to talk, and we like to listen.
That is true. Here's Kelvin on. He was asked basically if he would change anything about this tournament.
Doesn't matter what I think. It's good for the conference. It's a moneymaker. You know, there's still a lot of people that don't know that the NCAA and conferences make no money off football. The only moneymaker they have is men's basketball. NCAA tournament, their entire budget is controlled by men's basketball. The conference, they look at all their revenue streams. We're fortunate that we have a brilliant commissioner in Brett Yormark, and he dives into private equity and sponsorships and hit their version of name, image, and likeness for the conference. But the conference tournament is a big money maker. It's in a great city, Kansas City. It's close to teams whose fan bases really support their schools. I'll never forget last year playing at Iowa State. Now, as far as we're concerned, you know, the Iowa State game I got amused that people asked me about what would that loss do. The loss meant nothing for us as far as the next week. It's the ideal scenario for us last year would have been to play. I think we played Tech the first game, TCU the second game, and go home, and not even play the third game, just to go get. We had enough injuries as it was, and last thing we needed to do was play 3 games in 3 days with last year's team. But I think the great thing about that tournament, and I mentioned this at the time, for the 4 new schools, Houston, UCF, BYU, and Cincinnati, is seeing what that tournament was about, and seeing what the impact Iowa State and their fans had. Now, we played Missouri in the final. You'd have to check. I know we played Missouri in the semifinals, in front of 16,000 at Kemper. Ever how many that place said it seemed like 16,000. We played Missouri there. We played Kansas there multiple times in front of 1,000. And then we played at the Sprint Center. That was the first time I played the tournament at the Sprint Center or coached in the tournament at the Sprint Center. I'm not. What do you guys know? What the seating is there? What is the capacity? Is it 17,000?
You talking about the current place?
Yeah.
I believe it's between 15 and 17.
Okay, let's say it was 17,000. Well, in that game, there was 16,900 Iowa State fans. It's a great game for Iowa State. And if Kansas had been in the finals, it would have been 16,900 Kansas fans. So, but you have to leave it there for that reason. You know, it's part of the Big 12's culture. That tournament in Kansas City, people set up their entire this time of the year around that tournament. I think we were in the finals 5 straight times. We won 3 and lost 2. I remember the first time I was in the Big 12, and nothing's really changed. I remember losing to Iowa State, and we had a really good Oklahoma team. But they had Marcus Fizer, the number 4 pick in the draft. They had Jamal Tinsley, the number 27 pick in the draft. And then they had a bunch of other guys. Great coach, Larry Eustace. But that Iowa State fan base is unbelievable how they support that tournament. So now if you had it, it's kind of like when we played Arizona in San Antonio. Our fan base would not have taken a backseat to anybody. I was so proud of the Cougar fans when we played Arizona. Big reason we won. We would not have won that game without them. And then we went to Dallas last year. Obviously, we're in a position to maybe win that game before Jamal went down. But that would have been because that place was packed with Cougar fans. And just like when you go to Kansas City, it's going to be packed with Iowa State fans. It's going to be packed for Kansas fans, but that represents revenue for the Big 12 conference. So don't ask coaches what they think about it. It's necessary. Those dollars matter in this day and age for these conferences. So my opinion of it is irrelevant. It's always going to be there, and it's a good thing for our conference. It brings great value to our conference. When people tune in and watch Iowa State play, regardless of who they're playing, or they watch Kansas play, they're going to see a packed arena. Now, when the other teams play, maybe not so much, but that's why you have it in Kansas City.
It's actually 18,000 seating.
Well, then there were 17,900 Iowa State fans for that game. I'm assuming we had around 100 or so. And they had 17,900, but that's plus they had a great team. So that was but I remember our game against TCU, sparse crowds, Texas Tech, sparse crowds. But when you get Iowa State and Kansas and those teams in that area, Kansas State, I'm sure, has a great fan base too. But if the tournament was down in Dallas, you'd see the Texas team's fans probably flipped, although Iowa State fans travel to Dallas too. I remember seeing them there.
That is Kelvin Sampson, the head coach of the Houston Cougars. We'll dive into some of the stuff he said there, and I mentioned it early, but basically he essentially said that this tournament makes money, and it's because of 2 fan bases. So the way I hear this, and I don't know if anybody else is hearing it this way, the way I hear this, and I get it, we're the new kids on the block, but it sounds to me like they're catering to 2 fan bases. You know, we're catering to Kansas, and we're catering to Iowa State, and that's how it's going to be because they bring the most people. And so I don't know if I like the way I heard that. But again, we're the new kids on the block. We'll dive more into that as we move forward here.
real quick know the history of the Pac-10 tournament? Because there's only 2 coaches who voted against it every single year. 2 out of 10 coaches voted every single year against it. Lute Olson and Mike Montgomery were the 2 coaches who weren't interested in playing the postseason tournament. All the other coaches wanted
to the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. All right, want to hear your thoughts on that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Are you offended that it appears on the surface that this conference is catering this tournament to 2 fan bases? And I guess the other part of that question is was that us? Was that us when we were in Las Vegas? Were they catering it to us? Although I guess it's weird when you're on the inside. You can kind of say, maybe I don't think so, because again, it was centralized.
Phoenix, if it was in Phoenix, you could say that. But no, I think Vegas is close to all the schools in the Pac-12.
Yeah, and again, it's a centralized destination city. Kansas City is a city, but I don't know if I would call Kansas City a destination city. But then again, I don't know if I would call Indianapolis a destination city, and some of the other places that they have these tournaments. So there's a ton of different ways that you can look at this whole thing when you analyze these conference tournaments. All right. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We've got much more coming up in store for you. Hour 1 is in the books. Hour 2 straight ahead. Get in on the program at 520-848-1290. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Postal Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3. And then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, a scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Hey, man. It's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Motoring around one day, Bob heard all about it on the radio. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras for one low price, including valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. Bob knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. As cliches would have it, just then Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 locations and without hesitation claimed his new set of tires, installed for one low price, thingies included.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps. Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Love bounce pass back to Bradley. Fire at left corner. Townsend open for three. Trey drains another Lexus of Tucson Charity three. His second of the game. Timeout, Kansas.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Hour number 2 of our program. It is Arizona and Houston today in the Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship. The game will air on ESPN2 with John Sciambi and Fran Fraschilla on the call. Chris Budden will be on the sideline. I believe that's the same crew we had last night. I know a lot of people are interested to find out who the officials are going to be for tonight's game because we had that conversation. Could our guy Padilla be on the game? He didn't make a whole lot of friends in Tucson earlier this year. Brian Jeffries and Reggie Gary will have the call right here, 1290, Wildcats Radio 1290 and K-Hit 107.5. In this hour, we will dive into DK with Trey. No TL today, but DK with Trey. And as DK with TL, that's sponsored by nobody. Your college basketball scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. We'll take a look at what is happening. A lot of tournament championships today. We've got some semifinals and some of the other power conferences as well. Jeremy Branham is going to join us. He will give your scouting report. He is the broadcaster for the Houston Cougars. That is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Who's going to be that Cougar that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin? It's your pest of the game. Brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Best bets on the big board of the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Arizona is a 6-point underdog today to the Houston Cougars. They lost by 4 points here earlier this year in Tucson. The over-under is 136.5. That score was 62-58. So what's that? That's 120. The game here in Tucson. So that came in a lot under what they're projecting today, and the over has been the call for a lot of these games so far in Kansas City. Your view from courtside, we'll check in with Sean Mahoney from KULD 13, CBS 13. He is the lone television reporter that is in Kansas City this week, and I believe he's been there all week because he was at Fog Allen last week as well. So we'll check in with Sean and get his thoughts on everything that's been going on back in Kansas and Missouri for the last week with your Wildcats. Keys to the game, starting lineups, all of that is still straight ahead today.
58.3.
58.3.
That's how many points the Houston Cougars give up per game. That's good for the first slot in the nation. They give up the fewest points of any team at any level.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good considering they're also, like we mentioned earlier, and we'll hear from them later on that, one of the better three-point shooting teams, percentage-wise, in the country. Let's go to the phones. 520-848-1290. We got our guy Danny wants to sound off on the Big 12 Tournament Championship. You're on Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's the 10-nighter, I guess. Hey, I was just listening to some of the interviews you were playing, and, it reminds me of the respect that a lot of these college coaches, for good reason, get. Lute Olson and Kelvin Sampson, I believe their relationship was really good. Their on-the-court approaches might have been different, but the players always held huge respect for these guys. Nobody even, most college fans, a lot of them don't even know about a 5 years no-show or show clause with Kelvin Sampson. And why is that? It's because he's a damn good coach. He's always gotten results wherever he goes. And I think there's enormous respect for that. And I just appreciate it. I would look at Tommy Lloyd's more of a style of Lute Olson, I would say, on the sidelines. Would you guys say?
Ooh, Kelvin might be the best one to answer that. I don't know. I think Tommy is, he can get, I don't ever remember did coach ever get down? You know that stance Tommy gets in where he puts his hands down on his knees and gets down into that crotch kind of, I don't know that I ever saw Coach Olson do that, but.
Well,
Coach Olson was 6'8".
Olson would crouch down. He would crouch down.
It's a lot farther to crouch for Coach Olson. I will say this, the contrast between McCaslam and Coach Lloyd last night, the different approaches. You could talk, Kelvin, but I always watched Coach Olson on the sidelines being very stoic. He trusts his players, taught them during the week. He wasn't out there, hair on fire, that whole thing. And it seems like Coach Lloyd has a similar approach.
Yeah, no, Coach Ho, man, during the practice week, he's on you, coaching you up, tell you everything. But when you get into the game, he's one of those never let you see you sweat type of guys. You would never know what he was really thinking out there, and unless he was getting on the reps, and even that, he would do it cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, and two more short things. I saw this on. I always look up the betting predictions. I have multiple websites, and they put on player stats on some of them, even though we can't bet those here in the United States. They put this guy was picking Caleb Love's threes over under 2.5, and he was going under. I said
today?
To myself, I would take that today.
He
I
was
taking
going
over
under?
2.5.
Yeah, I would absolutely take over that today. Even against a good defense. And by the way, Danny accused me of pencil whipping you guys because I changed my bet last night. Because initially I had Texas Tech minus the 2, but then when I found out about the injuries, I went with U of A.
Well, I think we'll have
I can do that. I can do that, Danny, as long as I do it before tip off, and that's what I did.
Well, and I appreciate that you know what pencil whipping means in a golf term. You know what I mean?
Right.
Put me down for a 4.
Exactly.
I got one last.
Hey,
thing.
that's me. That's how I score my golf cart. My golf cart.
That's right.
Sure.
That's how I win a
one
lot of
last
domino games.
That's how you win a lot of domino games. That's awesome.
I just wanted to throw in there too that I had thrown that into you guys real late, but I always loved Bill Walton's approach. He was vastly knowledgeable and just himself. And if we happen to win today, I know God rest his soul, he'll be smiling somewhere thinking they took the truck stop tournament championship.
Yep.
He'll be happy.
Hey, DK, I got a tiny bit of bonus audio for Danny.
Okay.
This is from our first Houston game, and this is Kelvin Sampson talking about what Coach Olson meant to him.
A lot of the coaches in the league may not know the history of Arizona, but I do. The other thing I remember was how nice Lute and Bobby Olson were to Karen and I. Now, we weren't very good. We most of the games with Arizona, we were never in them. We just weren't good enough. But through it all, Luke was always nice, and I get, well, he beat you by 50 every game. Everybody, no, it wasn't that. He was just a nice man, and Bobby Olson was a class lady. They showed Karen and I how to be professional.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Yeah, you know what? Not only do I appreciate you playing that, but I know exactly where I was when you played that before the Houston game.
Nice.
And so, yes, it's much appreciated. And he hit the ball. He hit the ball in the head. And my point from from just a supporter, Bobby Olson was unbelievably wonderful. You know, if we remember, she passed on New Year's Day in 2001, the day before our most recent Final Four. So, just proud to be a Wildcat.
Awesome,
down,
Danny.
Danny.
Appreciate it. Bear down indeed.
Thank you, guys. Have a good afternoon. We'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. Let's sneak in DK with Trey here. A few questions I had to the transfer fifth-year senior forward out of Oxford, Michigan, who had a concussion earlier this year. Trey starts out talking about how he dealt with that concussion.
I had just one mild one at Oakland, but I never had missed any games. Missing a couple games, the cardio aspect of things is difficult, but I was able to get some workouts in my time off, kind of non-contact things like that, and build back up to playing. But I think missing any time is always it's a little bit of adjustment getting back to it, but I felt pretty good when I was back.
Trey, Caleb talked a little bit earlier about your defense, and obviously you were at the center of the end of the game at BYU. How did you grade yourself on that play, and how many different people, because the video's gone viral, how many different people did you hear from about that moment?
I mean, yeah, obviously it was the talk of college basketball. I got put in the situation. The coaches had trusted me to be in at that time of the game, which I took as a great compliment. Got put in there, and I felt I executed it as well as we drew it up. It didn't go our way, but that my teammates and the whole staff had my back, because that mentally that on someone could be very tough, but knowing they all believed we did the right thing, and I couldn't have really done much else. It kind of took the weight off my shoulders. Obviously we wanted to win that game, and I wanted to win, and I was down on myself a little bit, but personally I felt I did as well as I could in that situation, and it just didn't go our way that one time.
The three-point defense has been up and down all season. Started not so good, got real good kind of in the middle when you guys hit your win streak. A couple of games recently, guys have made shots on you. What's happening that's consistent to when you guys are playing good three-point defense?
I mean, I think it's just the game plan we have for each team. Obviously, every team has their star player and then the second guy that you're kind of looking out for. And, the games where, we're playing great defense, we're sticking to that plan very well and everything's going well. In some games there's going to be, role player guys on the other teams that are hitting threes that, you're not letting them shoot them, but, they're making shots that normally they wouldn't make. So sometimes you just tip your hat off to the other team. But I think, when we're gelling, when we're flowing, we're really locked in on that game plan that whichever coach has a scout for us and, dialed into that. But sometimes, you just tip your hat off to the other team because, good offense beats good defense. So.
Let's take a look at what's happening around the rest of the country. The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, should we update the bracketology real quick? A new bracketology came out about 3 hours ago from Joe Lunardi. Nothing's changed in terms of Arizona. He still has them as the 4 seed in the West. Playing in Seattle. All those teams are still the same. He's got them opening against Lipscomb and with Oregon on the other side of that in the second round, and still Florida as the number 1. So that would be the potential Sweet 16 matchup for Arizona if, of course, that's how that plays out. But that's how he has it for
because we all know the NCAA tournament is always chalk all the way throughout the entire thing, every single year.
Exactly. Obviously, this is the championship of the Big 12 today. We've got some other conference championships that are happening. and games across the top 25. Actually, we do have a couple finals already in the SEC semifinal. SEC semifinal number 1, number 8 Tennessee beats number 3 Auburn 70-65. So Tennessee is in the SEC championship game. Let's see what our guy Jordan Gainey had today. He had 15 points out of South Point Catholic High School.
How about Kelvin's guy?
3 of 8 and 8 of 8 from the foul line.
Kelvin's
Jordan
guy,
Gainey.
though, the
Yeah.
Kai. I mean, I know you've been talking about that guy for 3 years. He got busy. He had 20 points and 4 assists in that win for the Volunteers. He was coming off the bench, right? For like the first couple of years.
Yeah,
Kelvin?
Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah, he was kind of like their 6-man like spark plug, but
Guards. It's
Yep.
going to be a common theme.
He's tough. He's always been tough.
The first semifinal in the Big Ten is complete, and it is Wisconsin knocking off Michigan State. So our friends from BetMGM, they were wrong on Iowa State.
I thought you were about to say our friends from Madison. I'm like,
no.
Are they?
No, our friends from BetMGM, they picked Iowa State to win the Big 12. That did not happen. They picked Michigan State to win the Big 10. That is not going to happen. Later on in the ACC, it'll be number 1 Duke. That is the championship game. They'll take on number 13 Louisville. In the Big East, number 6 St. John's will face Creighton. That is the final at Madison Square Garden. The other SEC semifinal is 5th-ranked Alabama against number 4 Florida. The other Big Ten semifinal is number 22 Michigan against number 11 Maryland.
How about the SEC 2 semifinals having multiple top 10 matchups, guys? 8 versus 3 and 6 versus 4.
Yeah, I mean, again.
5 versus 4, excuse me.
Yeah, and think about that compared to obviously the Wildcats are playing in their final, but they are unranked currently. So, yeah.
That's all non-conference.
And it's been, the SEC obviously has been that way the whole season.
Here's what happened. The SEC ACC challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
The SEC lost 2 out of 25 games, something like that this year. So you want to know why there's so many highly ranked SEC teams this time of year?
Right.
It's because their out-of-conference schedule was outrageous. They won like 95% of their non-conference games as a conference.
Other games that are happening today. So the Tulane-Memphis, that game is underway. That is the American semifinal. And Memphis leads Tulane by a score of 29-27. I don't know who's in the other part of that bracket, but those other 2 teams are not currently ranked. All right, locally here today, we've got beach volleyball playing at Long Beach, the Long Beach State Tournament. They'll play later this afternoon. Softball is home today at 4 o'clock against Utah. They won 8-0 yesterday. They'll play today. And you'll hear that game on Freedom 1400 KTUC with Derek Palmer beginning at around 3:45, about 3:55 today.
It is University Alabama Birmingham versus North Texas.
Oh, there we go.
In
All right.
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
And that's for the championship?
No,
that's the
the
semifinal. Tulane,
Semifinal.
Memphis is one, and
Tulane,
then UAB,
Memphis,
North Texas is the other.
Ross Hodge is the head coach of North Texas. He used to go to my high school. He used to work for Grant McClaskland.
Nice.
When they was at Arkansas State, I believe, before they went to North Texas and split it ways or whatnot. So
6 degrees of Kelvin E-Funk.
Baseball, Arizona baseball is also home this evening. 6 o'clock first pitch at High Corbett Field, game 2 of their 3-game series against Cincinnati. Let me remind you also about tomorrow. Big day tomorrow here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We've got a lot happening. We will have our first baseball broadcast of the year. It'll be the final game of the 3-game series with the Cincinnati Bearcats. It is an 11 o'clock first pitch. Our coverage will begin at 10:45. Brody Dryden will have the call of that game. And hopefully it will end at 2:05, because if it's not, we are cutting off Brody Dryden if they go to extra innings. And you'll have to go to TV to see the end of it, because it'll be the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show from the Union Public House tomorrow at 2:05, regardless of whether the baseball game is over. Tommy takes the air. That'll be before the selection show, which is scheduled for 3 o'clock. So Tommy and Brian will talk Arizona basketball for an hour from the Union Public House. There's a big party out there, so come on by. There's huge crowds out there last year. I didn't get a chance to get out there last year because I was in Las Vegas. coming back from Las Vegas. And so looking forward to that because we are going to be out there as well at Union, and we will do 2 hours after Tommy Lloyd, 3 to 5, your selection show special. We'll hear from the head coach. We'll hear from hopefully a number of different people out there. We won't unfortunately hear from any of the players tomorrow, but we'll have. We'd love to hear from you. So if you're out there, if you're going to be out there, be sure to stop by our location. Love to put you on the air and talk Arizona basketball with the fans of Southern Arizona. All right, so that's what we've got coming up for you all tomorrow. Big day as we find out where the Arizona men's basketball team is going and if the Arizona women's basketball team will get a berth to the NCAA tournament or if not the WBIT, because they have already said that they will play there and they'll likely host if they don't get an NCAA tournament bid. The Wildcats will host there. All right. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
The College Basketball Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Right Way is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Right Way to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Accidents cause hassles as big as the Grand Canyon.
So we're hitting the road to spread the word about the bird.
The Eagle at Goldberg and Osborne.
Freeway fiasco in Flagstaff.
Hurt in Havasu.
Totaled in Tucson.
No worries. The Eagle has offices across the state. From Kingman
to Sierra Vista, where they fight hard to get you more.
So relax and ride on.
Because the bird is the word.
Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom-order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand, made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Autumn Nation.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Traore couldn't secure it. Loose ball to Wilson, and now the outlet to Sharp. Sharp into the front court, top of the key, Wilson. Wilson on the attack. Wilson, the one-hand hammer. Wilson streaking down the center of the paint and punches it in with the right hand. Usain at the logo, left wing Cryer, catch and shoot, three, got the roll! LJ Cryer with the members bounce. Cryer, dribble, step back, launches the three, got it. LJ Cryer with the devastating three.
Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there.
It is the championship of the Big 12 Conference today in Kansas City. Wildcats and Cougars, number 1 and 3 seeds in this tournament. The champions of the Big 12 are the Houston Cougars. The tournament champions, who will that be? Chatting with Jeremy Branham. He is the voice of the Houston Cougars. We've had him on our pregame show before. And Jeremy, I thought it was very interesting several times this week. And I absolutely agree with what Coach Sampson had to say. He came out and basically said, look, this is not the championship of the Big 12. The championship of the Big 12 was the 20 games that we played to get here. I've always believed that the automatic bid should go to the team that won the conference regular season. And yeah, we have these tournaments and that's great, but the Cougars are the champions. No one can dispute that.
Yeah, I think they're two different things, right? Now, I agree with you as well that the Big 12 regular season is probably a truer test of defining a champion than a weekly tournament. And you either have to win 3 games in 3 days. Some teams have to win 4 games in 4 days. Some teams have to win more than that. 5 games in 5 days if you're one of those bottom seeds. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with that sentiment as well. They're just very different, right? It's still very fun to win a conference tournament. It is still a feat. It's still very difficult to do. If Arizona can get it done, they would have beaten Kansas, Texas Tech, and Houston. That's an accomplishment. If Houston can get it done, they would have beaten Colorado, BYU, and Arizona. That is also an accomplishment. But when you're trying to say which one of the two is the better, test of a champion, yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Now, you guys obviously were in this position last year, and obviously there was a lot of injuries that kind of came with that. Have you guys been handling this any different this year versus last year?
No, not a ton. Now, Jawan Roberts did roll his ankle in the Colorado game, and the Cougars are erring on the side of caution there. Did not play yesterday. Sampson mentioned after the game, he's not going to play tomorrow either. So erring on the side of caution, but I'm not sure they wouldn't have done that in years past. Now, there have been some March injuries for the Houston Cougars, whether it's been the conference tournament or it's been the real tournament. You go back to last year where Jamal Shedd got injured in the Sweet 16 game against Duke, March injury. Jawan Roberts was actually a little banged up last year in the Big 12 tournament, March injury. You go years prior to that, Marcus Sasser got hurt in the American Conference tournament, and the Cougars were still in that thing. Fabian White injured his back. So it's really the unfortunate nature of these conference tournaments. We saw with Cooper Flagg maybe, more notorious than anything else when he rolled the ankle the other day. It's, and Arizona's in a similar situation as well. They're guaranteed to be in the NCAA tournament. So it's one of those things. What do you think the fan base is rooting for more? Are they rooting for the conference tournament title, or are they rooting for health more? And they're rooting for both, but health is the priority. Getting through the tournament healthy, that way you can get to the NCAA tournament, the biggest deal. But these coaches and these teams are so competitive that whoever's suiting up, the moment they tip it in the air, they're trying to win.
It's your scouting report, and it's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960, here to get you there. Chatting with Jeremy Branham. He's the voice of the Houston Cougars in Kansas City for the Big 12 Tournament Championship tonight. Obviously, you mentioned Juwan Roberts did not play last night, will not play today. How is this Houston team different without him?
Smaller. They're smaller. They don't have the depth that they would normally have with the post with him. Now, Houston could get away with that pretty easily against BYU. In fact, might have been better against that BYU team because they kind of play small, fast, high tempo. So taking one of your bigs for kind of a hybrid 3-4 guy in Terrence Arsenault could be a bit of a blessing in disguise. A little different against Arizona, right? They have far more size than BYU, more inside scoring presence than BYU. So it'll be a little different than yesterday, but I imagine you see a healthy dose of Javier Francis, Terrence Arsenault that try to fill in for Juwan Roberts. Now, foul trouble is a concern. You get one of those bigs into foul trouble, and you kind of start scratching your head a little bit on where they could go. Cedric Lott would be somebody that would be a back end of the bench option. He doesn't play very much, still very, very green, high potential guy, but hasn't played many minutes and still has a bit of a way to go. So staying out of foul trouble will be big. Rebounding will be big. Since Houston's a little bit smaller, can they keep up with Arizona's rebounding? That'll be something that I'm watching early.
Jeremy, when we started this conference, we took a poll here, and most people thought that the champion would have probably anywhere between 4 to 6 losses. Obviously, Houston went through this thing and only lost one time. What does that say about this team? And did you think this was a team capable of dominating this conference in the regular season the way they did?
Yeah, I knew they were a team that was capable of being very good. I wouldn't have predicted anybody to go 19-1. I remember doing a radio hit early in the Big. Actually, it wasn't even that early. It might have been like 6 games through the schedule. How many games will the Big 12 champion lose? I thought it'd be 5 or so. I thought it'd be 15-5 would be good enough to win the league. And Samson would be the first one to tell you that it took some good luck along the way too. You have to be very good, but you also have to be a bit lucky. You look at some of the games that Houston won where they could have lost. Could have lost inside of the McKell Center to Arizona. That was a tight game. Could have lost that one. They were down by 6 against Kansas with like 15 seconds to play. It stole an inbound pass, hit a 3, sent it to double overtime, won there. Got a buzzer beater-ish against UCF. So there were some close games that could have went either way. Houston was fortunate to win those games, but you give them credit too for being able to pull it out. There is something to be said about winning. But yeah, 19-1 seems very lofty. If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't have believed you.
Real quick, lastly, Jeremy, LJ Cryer did not win Player of the Year in the Big 12. JT Toppin did. Was that a surprise to the folks in Houston? And why do you think JT got it over LJ?
No, I don't think it was. Samson, whenever we did our radio show earlier this week, and of course you can't vote for your own guys, but he said if I could pick from my own guys, I would have picked JT Toppin. So I don't think it came as a surprise to anybody in Houston. I don't even think LJ really thought he was going to win Player of the Year. At least I haven't sensed that kind of, angst that he didn't win the award. And Toppin, I mean, he was amongst the leaders in scoring. He was amongst the leaders in rebounding. Texas Tech was the number 2 seed in the Big 12 tournament. So I think Toppin was a rewarding Big 12 Player of the Year, and I didn't sense any sort of frustration or angst from Houston or from Cryer.
Jeremy Branham is the voice of the Houston Cougars. Jeremy, have a great call today.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Jeremy Branham, that's your scouting report for the Wildcats and the Cougars.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
At University Termite and Pest Control, we handle all your pest problems. and maybe a few family ones too.
Wait, you can even take care of my in-laws?
I always tell people we'll take care of anything, even in-laws. You just have to dig the hole.
Okay, but seriously, is it okay for our pets?
Absolutely. It's okay for pets, kids, anything you want to live, will live.
Call us today at University Termite and Pest Control. We'll squash those pests and enjoy it.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 five-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, deferred is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Sharp into the front court, right sideline, right wing, a pull-up three. Got it! Back-to-back threes by the Cougars, and it's a 6-2 start. Wilson, quick inbound to Tugler. Tugler underneath, back to Wilson, left wing Sharp. Sharp's going to hesitate now, launches a three off the glass and in. Emmanuel Sharp banked it in and got the roll.
All those calls you're hearing from our guy Jeremy Branham, who we just talked to, the voice of the Houston Cougars, courtesy of Learfield. And we appreciate Jeremy for taking some time out to join us. It is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, Arizona and Houston in the championship of your Big 12 tournament today. Tip-off is straight ahead at 3 o'clock. We've got you till 2:30 before we hand it off to Brian Jeffries and company. We mentioned Houston and their ability to shoot threes, as you heard from Jeremy's calls there. They do it extremely, extremely well. And what exactly, let's hear from Kelvin Sampson here, what that does for this team's offense, that they have the ability to shoot the three ball the way that they do?
Well, teams have to guard the post differently, obviously, because of our spacing. So it's the hardest thing in the world to do is run a half court set and get a wide open three. That's hard to do, especially against teams you're playing 2 and 3 times because they scout you. Just like teams have a hard time scoring on us for the same reasons. But the other ways, the offensive rebounds and the daggers or the kickouts, transition, loose balls, LG, we had a 3-on-1. I think our first 3 of the game the other night was on a turnover. We monstered the post, got a turnover. LJ went down and pulled up and shot it from the 3. We got a steal. He went down, and I think it was Edgecombe that blocked his layup. I wish he'd have pulled up and shot that at 3. The 2 best I've had doing that's been Marcus and LJ shooting threes, 1-on-0 or 2-on-0. Just pull up and shoot it. It makes sense. Armani Brooks would have been in that category. Maybe Corey Davis. I've had some really good shooters here, but the 2 best probably was Corey and Armani. I don't know what we shot from the 3 that year, but those 2 guys were well over 100 makes each. I know LJ is going to finish over 100. And Emmanuel probably would have too had he not been hurt and been out for as long as he was. So, but if we had 2 other guys that could shoot threes, we'd let them shoot too. Milos has actually gotten better. But we felt when we recruited Milos, we knew that he was going to be a much improved shooter. We looked at all of his film and we looked at his shot and said, that's a kid that's going to be a good shooter here.
And when you talk about their ability to shoot the 3, I mean, they've got one of the best duos in the country. We mentioned Emmanuel Sharp earlier, who's gotten hot here in this tournament. He only averages 2 per game, but he's shooting 43% from behind the arc. And then you throw in LJ Cryer, who averages 3 made a game, and he is averaging close to 43%. JW said they are 4th overall in the country in shooting threes.
Yeah, low volume. They only take 20 per game, but they are 4th in the country. Bradley Braves, Villanova Wildcats, and North Dakota State Bison are ahead of them. But those 3 teams, guys, shoot 24, 24, and 30 per game. So we know the possessions go way down when you're playing the Houston Cougars. Defense is so valuable. They obviously shorten the game a bit. But the 4th most efficient, and for those wondering out there, the Arizona Wildcats are 263rd in the country, and that's out of 364 teams.
And I bet if you look at it, the team with the high percentages is just like what you heard Coach Kelvin Sampson said was there's 2 or 3 guys that's shooting the ball that are high percentage shooters, and that's who they look to shoot it. That's why you hear the word shooter, because usually everybody don't shoot it. It's usually the guys with the high percentage who you really think is going to make the shots. And when you get down to tournament time, it's the teams that understand. It's called KYP, know your personnel. Know what you can do, first of all, and what your strengths are. And I think Houston is just a team that play towards that. They have guys that play specific roles, and they stick to it.
Yeah, such a great point, because the only team I'm thinking of in the league, guys, is BYU. That doesn't fit that mold. They got 7, 8, 9 guys who are trying to get up threes. But for the most part, it's really 2 or 3 guys who got the green light all the time. If you can lock down, make sure that those guys have a hand in their face, you go a long way, Kelvin, to winning these kind of games this time of year.
LJ Cryer's 43%. That was the best in the Big 12 and 19th nationally. You mentioned one of the teams on that list in terms of teams was Villanova. Apparently, they did not shoot the three-pointer well enough to save their head coach. Kyle Neptune fired today after 3 seasons at Villanova. It's never easy to replace the legend. He had to replace Jay Wright, and just 54 and 47 in 3 years. No tournament appearances for the Villanova Wildcats, who won. They won back-to-back, right? In Jay's last 2 years, they won
like
2 in a
that.
row. Yeah,
I think they won 2 at least under his tenure. I mean, they're always in
Jalen
the
Brunson.
conversation.
that obviously is not going to fly in Philadelphia. So Kyle Neptune, unfortunately, out as the head coach of the Villanova Wildcats today. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's dive into who our pest of the game is going to be today.
Who is today's pest of the game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
All right, there's a lot of choices for who's going to be that Cougar that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today. And let's start with J.W. Madden.
Well, to me, the guy who killed Arizona in McHale last time was Milos Uzan. And I think that's the guy who can really get busy. We talked about the shooter, Sharp and Cryer, really good catch and shoot, hesitation shooting from distance. But Uzan's a guy who worry about getting busy in the mid-range. A lot of the shots down the stretch for the Houston Cougars that led to that 4-point win in McHale were due to his penetration and ability to make good decisions. So that's got to be my guy today. You got to make sure he doesn't get those easy looks from mid-range and set his guys up, which he's really primarily trying to do. 4.5 assists per game this year. Milos Uzan's my guy.
All right, Milos Uzan, says J.W. Madden. I am going to go with Joseph Jojo Tugler as my pest of the game. He had 8 blocks in a game earlier this year for this team. He was one of the names on the defensive team, all defensive team for the Houston Cougars, although what I remember about him was him dunking the basketball earlier this year at McHale Center. But again, this is a guy that's a defensive force that on a team that is known for their defense, and he could be that guy. He has recorded 20 games with multiple block shots this season. You know, I like to go with my defensive guys. So Joseph Tugler is going to be the guy I think that most gets underneath the Wildcats' skin. The defensive player, not only on the all defensive team, the defensive player of the year. I shorted him there in the Big 12 this year.
Uzan?
No, Joseph Tugler.
Tugler was.
Yeah,
Jojo.
Tugler. Jojo.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with, I got to go with L.J. Cryer. Defense is the calling card of Houston, but without Cryer's three-point shooting ability and his ability to make tough shots, I think he really just like Caleb makes everything a little comfortable for our guys, I think Cryer is that guy for them. I think he's a guy we really need to pay attention to, because if we can slow him down and keep him from running off screens and getting wide open shots, I think it really slows down a lot of what they're trying to do offensively.
All right, some good names there for the Houston Cougars. I mean, again, you could pick any number of these guys because they're all really, really good. It's the reason they're the number 2 team in the country. But those are the guys we think will get underneath the Wildcats' skin today.
Amazing stuff. That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at bepestfree.com.
Uzan the other way with the ball. He'll drive the lane, dish it underneath, and a slam dunk for Tugler. Cats up 32-28, and Houston with the ball the other way. Roberts in the lane, almost threw it away. Ball loose, saved by Roberts. Back inside to Tugler, who will slam it home.
That's what I'm talking about. He was just pulling the rim down at McHale Center, was JoJo Tugler earlier. A sophomore out of Monroe, Louisiana, 6'8", 230 pounds, averages 6 points, grabs 6 boards, and like we mentioned, 2 blocks per ball game. Let's hear from Kelvin Sampson on what JoJo has added to the lineup this year.
JoJo, when he played for Mo Taylor with the Houston Hoops, we saw that in him. We knew that. Now he was probably more 6'7"-ish, and he was probably more 210 versus now he's a full 6'8", and he probably weighs 235, somewhere in that ballpark. But he's so quick twitch, and he has that wingspan, that reach. And like all great shot blockers, he can block left-handed and right-handed. Javier is very similar too. They both have good left-handed instincts around the rim. But that's not something you teach. You know, we didn't teach him to do that. We encourage him to do it more often, maybe. Be more aggressive in going after him. But JoJo was born with those instincts, and that's been a huge factor for us.
That is the head coach, Kelvin Sampson, talking about his big man, Joseph JoJo Tugler. And you just brought up an interesting point, J-Dub, when we were listening to that Houston used to be a place that the Wildcats got a lot of guys out of to come play here.
Kelvin can talk more on this, but I remember Nick Wise and his dad were big, but Jawan McClellan was the guy I remember. Maybe it was the last one from that pipeline, Kelvin. Is that right?
Yeah.
I know that Nick Wise kind of started that, but the Houston Hoops program used to be all Arizona guys.
Josh Pastner.
There you go.
Josh Pastner. That's the reason why they got him here. Josh Pastner was a head coach. His dad ran the team, but Josh Pastner was a head coach at like 15. So that's the way he kind of got involved in the recruiting and kind of led his way to ended up being a college head coach there. But Joseph Blair also is from Houston. One of our guys from Houston helped start that out as well.
So do you think that that's more of, the Wildcats just not having those pipelines anymore, or is that Kelvin Sampson kind of putting a cap on that and saying we want those guys to stay home and play here?
Well, I think a couple things happened there. I think one, we were on that national recruiting thing, and we started getting international, right? And I think Kelvin Sampson had a little bit to do with us coming back home a little bit and getting some Toby Owaka and some Townsend type guys, kind of how they beat us up last time when they, went against us with Tabellis and company. But I think Houston is doing a good job in Houston. I think everybody goes to Texas and recruit, and then Arizona just with their national recruiting, ability to reach recruiting reach. I think that's more what it's about.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors, but it's also similar to the Seattle situation where every good player out of Seattle came to Arizona for a period of time. Mm-hmm. And then the Huskies started getting Midland and then good. And then the whole conversation was, you got to lock down Seattle. How can you let these guys go, 1,500 miles away from here, 2,000 miles away from here, and go down in the desert? We got a good school right here. Let's keep some of those guys home. And if it wasn't North Carolina, Kelvin, where some Seattle guys were going, all of those guys stayed home, like that Roy class and all those dudes. Right. So Houston has always had tough guys. Jawan McClellan was so tough. Nick Wise tough. So that toughness applies so well, DK, to what Kelvin Sampson is trying to do. So if there are great players who could potentially expand their games to become great at the national college level, and they're right in your backyard, you got to make sure those Mike Bibbies come down to the road and come to Tucson. Every single coaching staff has that priority of locking down the great talent that comes out of their backyard.
All right, 2 hours in the books here on Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We've got an hour left to go, and we are taking you right up to tip-off, or at least to network coverage at 2:30. Tip-off will come your way right here at 3 o'clock. With Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden, I'm David Kelly. Stay with us. Get involved with us at 520-848-1290. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Autumn Nation. Honey, our yard looks like a jungle. It's full of weeds, and the neighbors are complaining, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using just doesn't work. Not to mention, I don't have the time.
You know, it's not just the weeds. I'm also seeing ants and the spider, a scorpion. I saw a scorpion, and I think there's a pack rat living in the garage.
I get it.
It's scary.
I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today and get rid of them all.
You're the best, honey.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Put your money to work for you. Hughes Federal Credit Union offers a safe, reliable path to some of the best rates in the state. You'll get a fixed rate of return with our 17 or 30-month jumbo certificate account with rates as high as 4.5% APY. There's no market risk and your funds are insured by NCUA. Hughes has been named one of the top credit unions in Arizona by Forbes. Get started at hughesfcu.org/elevate. Save smart with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Minimum balance is up to $99,000.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything you need for your next remodel. Windows? Check. Doors? Got it. Cabinets, countertops, and everything in between? You'll find it all here at the lowest prices. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or whole home makeover, our experienced designers are ready to bring your dream home to life, all at unbeatable prices. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
I love my weekend rides across Arizona. I travel with all the protection I need. Helmet, gloves, leathers, and the Eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle fights hard to help injured riders across the state. Whether we're cruising through Carefree, slow riding in Sedona, or breezing through Bisbee, they find you doctors, manage medical bills, and get you back on your bike with the most money possible. Injured riding? The bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.com.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 5-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Motoring around one day, Bob heard all about it on the radio. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras for one low price, including valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. Bob knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. As cliches would have it, just then Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 locations and without hesitation claimed his new set of tires, installed for one low price, thingies included.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps. Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Here's a lead down to Love, who slams it home. And the Wildcats come right back at it.
What a beautiful play there. Jaden Brownlee quickly getting it up to 4. Caleb Love streaking for the alley-oop finish.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, final hour of our show before we hand you off to the network. Still to come, our best bets. On the big board is the Desert Diamond Casino Sports Book. Head on over there. Arizona getting 6 today. And the over-under 136.5 because Houston plays defense. But is that all they do? We'll find out here in a moment. Your view from courtside, we'll chat with Sean Mahoney, weekend anchor at KOLD and reporter. He has been in Kansas City all week following your Arizona Wildcats. Keys to the game, starting lineups. Tommy Lloyd, KJ Lewis, all of that still coming up as we take you through our final hour of the show. Want to hear from you as well. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Jody Luna checks in. We were talking earlier about the Big 12 tournament and if they're catering to two fan bases. Jody says the Pac-12 probably did cater the conference tournament to the Arizona schools and the Southern California schools. Big 12 should move the conference to Vegas, the conference tournament. More to do in Las Vegas. Kansas City is a nice city, but not much to do other than visit the World War I Museum and eat barbecue. Don't forget about the Negro League Museum, too, Jody. I hear that. I've not been there, but I've heard it is something to see for sure. Plus, only a few schools are within driving distance. Kansas, Iowa State, and Kansas State. I always appreciate the thoughts of Jody checking in there. Okay, so this is an interesting question that Tommy Lloyd was asked last night. Let's hear the reporter who asked Tommy a little bit about the Houston Cougars.
You guys specialize on offense. Houston specializes
We're
on
not that bad on defense.
Right, but you're known for offense, let's put it that way. Houston specializes on defense. Just talk about
What he said,
with
Houston specializes in winning basketball.
I love Tommy sometimes, man. He's like, Houston specializes in winning basketball. And he says, don't shortchange Houston's offense.
They're great on defense. They're great on the glass. I mean, so I know if you want to drill it down and just say defense because that's easier to understand, that's fine. But they're also great on offense. And that's what makes them so hard to beat. And obviously they're tough as nails.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is if you think, guys, this is a one-dimensional team that you're playing today, you got another thing coming.
They're thinking of Virginia from the last 15 years, Kelvin. I mean, Virginia was a team that was trying to hold you under 40 and win 45-39. Right. That was the Virginia Cavaliers during their stretch. Houston, we just said it. I mean, they're the fourth best three-point shooting percentage team in the country. They got guys who can get busy on their own, and they run really tight offense. So, no, this is not a one-dimensional defense-only team, like he said. That's just the team that knows how to win.
And I love what I heard Coach Lloyd say, because a lot of people who don't understand what the guy was saying, and I don't even know if the reporter was saying, understood what he was saying, but when you say one team is known for their defense and one team is known for their offense, if I'm a coach, I want to be the team that's known for their defense, because it's like saying you're soft. It's like saying that, you score, you're trying to outscore people. And when we all know that the key to winning a championship is going to be your defense, your shot is going to fail. You're going to miss 3-point shots. That's why some of the best shooters are only 40%, right? I mean, I think people need to hear that. 40% is what some of the best shooters are. So when it gets, go ahead, J-Dub, I seen you say.
I got a problem with the whole narrative. Like once again, the Pac-12 refs called every single foul. So therefore, the Arizona Wildcats and West Coast got a reputation of being soft and all that. I heard the broadcasters last night say this exact thing. They said Henry Vasar just learned how to challenge shots at the rim in the last couple of months. That's what they said. The broadcaster said yesterday. Yeah. The entire concept of, Arizona is finally learning how to match the intensity defensively. Did they not? I mean, every single game, first of all, Kelvin, your coach was really, really big on defense. Defense was defense, and rebounding. That's what Lute was all about. Since Coach Lloyd, and obviously Coach Miller was all about defense. Coach Lloyd, since he got here, I mean, did nobody see that TCU NCAA tournament game? I mean, all the games versus the coach over there in UCLA and Westwood the last 5 years. I mean, Arizona can win games in the 50s if they really need to. They can also outscore you 100. But the national perception that Arizona tries to win games by getting 100 fast break points and just having their hands down on defense, it's just a hot garbage. It's not real. That's not reality. The reality is that Arizona, especially under Coach Lloyd, is trying to play both sides of the ball and be great, Kelvin, on both sides of the ball.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Let's find out what is happening right now over at the Desert Diamond Casino.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right. Everybody got a win Everybody got 2 wins last night. That was a good thing. So J-Dub is now +6, DK +2. Kelvin is back even on the season, working his way back, although Kelvin is the hot one of the moment. He has won 6 straight picks in our best bets segment. Arizona is getting 6 points today. Kelvin, you're the hot man, so lead the way on what you think is going to happen in this one.
Man, Houston's just tough on the defensive end of the court, man. I think it's going to be a tough one, but I got to take Houston today. I think only by 8. So what's that? 2 points that U of A was not going to be able to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I got Houston by 8.
Houston by 8, says Kelvin. So he is taking Houston minus the 6 in this particular play. I keep thinking these games are going to be close. They haven't really been close. 6 points is a lot. I think I'm going to take U of A and that 6 points. I just think this is going to be a game that could come down to one basket today, like a lot of these championship games do. So I'm gonna take the points today in Arizona.
Yeah, I agree with you, DK. I think it's tough to pick Arizona to win. I really want Arizona to win this game, but watching what Houston just did yesterday to BYU's offense, I mean, they're just really clicking on all cylinders, even without Juwan Roberts. I think Arizona does not lose by more than 6. So I think it's either a close game and Houston wins by 3 points, or Arizona finds a way to eke it out in the end. Same as the game at McHale. It was really down to the last couple of possessions. So I think Arizona plus the 6 is my pick.
I mean, think about that. BYU had been scoring in the 90s. The 90s, and Houston held them to 54 points.
Yeah, man. No, when you're just talking about all-out effort, every one of those guys, man, they be where they supposed to be double time. So, yeah, that's just tough. And after seeing that, man, I mean, you know, I probably would have went with the +6, but after seeing that defense, the way they locked up shooters, like this team full of shooters plus bigs that can finish at the rim, so it didn't make me too optimistic for us.
And remember, this is Houston's second year in the league, but last year they made it to the finals in this tournament, lost to Iowa State. You know, there's another team, not like they have a long history in the Big 12, but they have not won this tournament as well, Kelvin. So if there's motivation for those guys to put a banner up and win this tournament, show them, you know, prove that obviously the 19-1 wasn't a fluke. I mean, they got motivation to win today as well.
All right, over under 136.5. We'll go in reverse order on this one. We'll start with J-Dub.
I mean, common sense would be way under because that's what Houston does, but I'm going to go against that logic. And I think the way teams have been shooting, I think both teams are going to be outrageously intense. The 50-50 ball matchups are going to be insane. However, I think for some reason that both teams find a little bit of offense, and I'd like to I'm not too much further than that, but what do you say, 120?
136.
136. Yeah, I think it's probably not much more than that. Like, yeah, I'll say 140-ish, something like that.
Okay, I think they've only been over that number one time in their last 7 games.
I'm aware.
That was against Cincinnati when they hit 137.
This is very against type for me, but I'm not using logic for this.
Okay.
I'm just gut feeling. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Over. All right, I'm going to stick with under on that one. I just think that's I could see a game in the 60s. If it, like I said, I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be in the 60s, so I think it's going to be well under that number by potentially 7 to 10 points. Kelvin.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going under. Houston just don't play that type of basketball. They're going to walk the ball. They're going to get 3-4 guys back to make sure you can't fast break. So, yeah, I got to go under.
All right, so the plays today are Kelvin taking Houston and laying the 6, DK and J-Dub taking Arizona and the 6, Kelvin and DK taking the under, J-Dub taking the over. So we'll have a little bit of movement today for the first time. That's what it looks like on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Hotel.
Those are today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right. Yesterday, we gave you a chance to hear a little bit from the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, Brett Yormark. We didn't get through all of what he had to say. We do have a few extra moments here in this segment, so I want to play you at maybe one or the two other things that he had to say in his media day earlier this week in Kansas City. They've been playing basketball since Tuesday because, there's 2 extra rounds of these events now with 16 teams. So I think he spoke on Tuesday and or maybe even Monday. But I think it was actually Tuesday. One of the things we dealt with this season were the one-game road trips where the Wildcats, and I think the Wildcats only had to deal with this a few times towards the end, where they played a game at home and then they went on the road, or they played a game on the road and then they would come home and play a game at home in the structure of that particular 2-game week. Brett Yormark was asked about the logistics of these one-game road trips.
Is there any consideration to doing less, one-game trips for some of these teams? It seemed like that was kind of
You're talking about conference travel and schedule?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, listen, I can only speak, and I'll defer to Brian, too, my colleague. We're very mindful of the wear and tear and the travel. It's one of our guiding principles when we think about scheduling, making sure that we're very sensitive to that, and that will continue. But, Brian, you might want to speak even further on that.
To that point, we always want to be cognizant, as Commissioner said, and we do have, because of the nature of our institutions, we have some situations where we're able to pair trips together for some of our institutions. Think about going to Arizona and Arizona State, or BYU and Utah, or even to Cincinnati and West Virginia because of proximity. So when we have the ability for institutions to go from east to west and play 2 games, that's something we want to take advantage of. For our institutions that are more centrally located, it's easier for them to either go west or east in a 1-game scenario. But we want to definitely be mindful of making sure our student athletes are in as good of a position as possible.
Yeah, he did a lot of deferring to Brian Thornton. I don't know if that's good leadership. Hey, you're the guy running this team, so you do the talking, or if he's just not wanting to answer those questions as the commissioner. Because Brett Yormark certainly likes to talk, but hey, I like the fact that he's letting Brian Thornton kind of take the lead on a lot of this stuff. He's the new guy in the position, the new guy in the conference, former basketball player we mentioned yesterday with Sean Miller at Xavier, coached with James Whitford, who was a longtime Miller assistant, who was on the staff here for a number of years in Tucson before taking over at Miami of Ohio. So Brian Thornton's a guy that knows a lot about college basketball. And so there you go. We'll hopefully get you a little bit more, maybe Brett Yormark coming up a little bit later in our show. Let's get to a break, though, here. Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day will have much more straight ahead. Kelvin Efon is here. JW Madden is here. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Aaron Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, The Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Ardent Nation.
If you have old windows, they are probably driving up your energy bills. Upgrade with new windows from the Window Depot. The Window Depot provides unbeatable value and a wide variety of in-stock and custom order windows to fit your style and budget. With our exclusive SI window brand made right here in the USA, you'll get a full lifetime warranty, including glass replacement, for ultimate peace of mind. Order online at thewindowdepot.com or visit a location near you and start your project today. Experience the best prices, the biggest inventory, only at the Window Depot.
Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or royalkia.com.
If you can't be at the game, then you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's the best place to eat, watch, drink, and play. Watch your favorite team throughout the entire tournament. Take a walk on the $1 Million Midway where you can play the biggest and newest arcade games. So when your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's. Watch all the sports you want. They have massive HD TVs, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rockin' K with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Love out top, Lewis, handed out to Bryant. Carter pulls up, goes inside to Basar. Good! And he's fouled by Toppin.
Big time finish there by Henry Basar. Rolling out of that middle pick and roll. Was able to make the catch, pirouette, and finish with a possibility for the and one.
It's time now for us to take you down to front row of the arena. A view from the courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
All right, the intro to that segment actually made me laugh today because I've been seeing a lot of video from the media in Kansas City. It does not look like they're actually at courtside. Looks like some of the folks are really high up at the T-Mobile Center. But let's go out to Kansas City right now and chat with Sean Mahoney from KOLD CBS 13. He is the only TV reporter, I do believe, who is in Kansas City following the Wildcats this week. Sean, I hope they didn't give you one of those nosebleed seats way up at the top. I guess there's a hockey press box or something there I've heard people mention.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I'm the only TV news reporter out here, and it's funny, as Arizona has gotten better in the tournament, my seats have gotten better and better. The first game against Kansas. I was up in that press box yesterday. I actually got in the lower bowl, and today for the final, they gave us some courtside seats.
Wow.
So Arizona's helping us get better.
There you go. The Wildcats win, and they treat the media just a little bit better. I like that. Sean, how did you get I went to Vegas for 2 weeks last year. How did you get an entire week plus in Kansas and Missouri?
I mean, it was thanks to the good folks at 13 News. We really wanted to spruce up our coverage for women's basketball. We were here for the women's basketball tournament last week. Obviously, the Cats, the Wildcat women got bounced a little bit early, so time worked out that it would be easier to keep us here. So I've been here for probably the past 12 days. I could tell you everything you need to know about Big 12 basketball and Kansas City barbecue as well.
All right, so now did you ever go to the Pac-12 at all in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I went last year. Last year was the first year I went, and definitely a different vibe over here in Kansas City. I mean, the Vegas was McHale North. There's no questions about it. Here in Kansas City, the weather's weird. It blizzard last week, and then yesterday was 78 degrees. So I don't know how to feel about it.
So give us a sense of what the Wildcat vibe has been like. I mean, obviously that's one of the things we've been talking about all week. Is how this, for so many years, the conference tournament was kind of like our tournament. It felt like our tournament. We had the biggest fans, whether it was Los Angeles, whether it was Las Vegas, and that's not necessarily going to be the case. We played some cuts earlier from Kelvin Sampson about how he talked about this is essentially the Iowa State-Kansas Invitational because they bring the most fans. But what's that Wildcat vibe been like in terms of the folks and the fans that have traveled to be there?
I mean, yeah, it was as we've gotten more and more into this tournament, we've seen more and more Wildcat fans show up. And look, even though it is, like you said, it's the Kansas and Iowa State Invitational, absolutely. And I watched Kansas game against UCF before they played Arizona, and the amount of people in the seats for Kansas games versus any other game is like 10 to 1. I mean, it's a 45-minute drive from Lawrence. But as Arizona winning helps everything, right? And Arizona, you could see them, even at the end of the Kansas game, you could hear U of A chants, bear down chants throughout all of T-Mobile Center. And for the game yesterday against Texas Tech, it was, I would say, a decent amount of Wildcat fans who made the trip over from Kansas City. Obviously not to the levels of McHale North, but for a city that might as well be all the way across the country, I mean, the lower bowl was pretty much almost full with Arizona fans. So I got to wonder if that helps. You also have to remember, too, Caleb Love is from St. Louis, Missouri. His parents, he has family who lives in Kansas City. In yesterday's game alone, they had 30 to 40 people from his family and friends and locals in the area come to the game as well. So that's a little bit of a home field advantage. And, we showed how well it played for him last night with 27 points.
It is your view from courtside, and it is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona now for more than 25 years. Sean Mahoney from KOLD CBS 13 is joining us. He's a sports reporter. He is the weekend news anchor as well over at my old stomping ground at KOLD, where I used to work with Damian Alameda and company and Dan Maurice and all those great folks back in the day. It seems like it was a long time. It seems like when I was young, which I am no longer young. But also, you talk about today's game. Where are you right now? Are you in the building already? What's the vibe like today around T-Mobile?
Yeah, inside T-Mobile, there's definitely a little bit of an anxious vibe for everyone involved. Obviously, a big task ahead with Houston. The fans are still, like you said, the U of A contingent has stayed. We're seeing a little bit of more fans show up throughout the week. I will say, for those fans of like the Kansas and Iowa State, they stayed around. So it's going to be a packed house today. But as far as the atmosphere for the game, I mean, it's the Big 12 title game. This is what the Wildcats have been preparing for. Tommy Lloyd said they set this goal out at the beginning of the season. They wanted to prove that they're not just the newcomers on the block. For years when they were winning Pac-12 titles, there was talks about the conference being weak, and now you're at the pinnacle. You're staring down the barrel at the defending champions in Houston, and you got a chance to prove that you belong to the Big 12. And Trey Townsend, I talked to him in the locker room yesterday, said they're ready to leave with some bumps and bruises. So I'm sure the fans are excited for that.
Sean Mahoney joining us from KOLD CBS 13. Shaq is back. DJ Diesel is performing tonight. Is that expected to draw a big crowd? I imagine they have kind of an outside social area there around the arena where people can, like you said, the weather's been good this week, so people can kind of hang. What's that area like?
Oh, yeah, they got a whole fan fest right outside the front doors of T-Mobile Center. They've had a lot of basketball experience things you can do. That's where Shaq Diesel is going to be setting up to perform. I haven't got a look at him. I feel like if I've seen him, I would know if I see him since he's 17 years old. But once I'll try to find him. I'll definitely have to make my way around to him. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of the many things that is outside T-Mobile Center that's drawing a lot of crowds, especially on a day that's a little windy out here, but still good.
All right, so I mentioned before I worked in TV for a number of years, so I know what the news directors are saying. We want people stories this week. So what's your best people story? Who are some of the folks you've talked to? You mentioned the Loves are there and a big contingent because I think his mom actually is from Kansas City. Have you had a chance to talk to the families? What's been your best story this week?
Oh, dude, I mean, there's so many. I mean, we've been here through the women's tournament, too. So we've been here. We got here not this past Monday, but the Monday before, so almost 2 weeks now. I've got to talk to, obviously, you have Caleb Love. His family's here. I got to chat with them a little bit about just the joy they're having watching Caleb on this stage. But not only that, I mean, underlooked story that I got to talk to was for the women's team, Jada Williams is from Kansas City. She grew up right down the street from T-Mobile Center. I talked with her mom and Jada herself about the experience. Jada said she literally grew up dreaming of playing in the T-Mobile Center, watching the Harlem Globetrotters. She gave some good barbecue recommendations. Joe's, for anyone who's in Kansas City, is probably the best. But, I mean, it's just cool stuff like that. And then the Wildcat fans that we get to speak to yesterday, I mean, we found a group of Wildcat fans. There's 8 guys who've made it their tradition to go to Vegas every year, and they made it out to Kansas City. They didn't want to miss the tournament. They had custom shirts saying I'll bring the bourbon, I'll bring the barbecue, Wildcat fans, some red and white hair. So, I mean, there's just so much out here to talk about and such a great experience. And even though it's far away from McHale, I mean, there's so many different ties to this area that have made it home for all the Wildcats and their fans.
Sean Mahoney is joining us. Before we continue with our conversation, let's pause 10 seconds and allow station identification. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
We are exactly 1 hour away from tip-off of the Big 12 Tournament Championship game today. 3rd seed Arizona, number 1 seed and 2nd ranked Houston. It'll be at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. That is where we find KULD CBS 13's Sean Mahoney. He has been with the Wildcat men. He has been with the Wildcat women in Kansas City and Kansas and Missouri for the last 2 weeks. So you went to the game at Lawrence too. Sean, what was your impression of that experience?
Oh, my goodness. You can't say enough about Allen Fieldhouse. I mean, look, and to be fair, for anyone who's been looking on social media, that there was some controversy about what Tommy Lloyd said after the game about that he essentially was saying that McHale needs to step it up a little bit because that Allen Fieldhouse is just one of the best college basketball environments that I have been in. The fans are ruckus from start to the end. I mean, it was senior night too, so that played into it. And just they're constantly jumping, making noise throughout the entire game. There's no sitting down. Everyone's standing up. And the way the stadium is set, it just has this old school basketball vibe. And it definitely played into the game too. Obviously, Arizona ended up going on to lose that game. And Tommy Lloyd said the fans were there for 30 minutes after the game. The entire stadium was still there. No one left. And it's little things like that. I mean, look, McHale is obviously one of those great basketball environments, but there's certainly levels to it, and Arizona is right there, but Allen Fieldhouse was something else.
Yeah, and it's interesting, this is and I always have told people, I mean, the conference tournament is very unique from the regular season, at least from the media standpoint, because this is the only opportunity that you actually now get to go into the locker room after the game and talk to the guys. I mean, it's so very structured during the regular season. They bring them to a media room, they're up on the dais, but you can actually kind of get a better feel for the players now at the conference tournament and in the NCAA tournament because the locker rooms are open to the media. What has that locker room experience been like? How have the guys, obviously, you win 2 games, so it's a good feeling, but what are some of the things you've taken out of the locker room the last 2 nights?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. This is one of the best parts of my job coming to these tournaments is being able to go into the locker room, get that kind of behind the scenes access. I mean, just yesterday, some of the conversation I had, like, you have to realize, like, March is a special time for everyone, but you have different angles on it, right? I talked to Carter Bryant, the freshman, who has undoubtedly played a huge role on this Arizona team with his three-point shooting and his defense. But he told me yesterday, he was like, it feels like a dream. Like, I feel like I'm just get a front row seat to March Madness, and I just happen to have the Arizona in front of my chest. And he talked to me about being able to learn from guys like KJ Lewis on the defensive end, seeing Caleb Love's performance, and you really see kind of the camaraderie with the team. And then from the other end, a guy like Trey Townsend, who transferred here. We had a great conversation yesterday in the locker room when I told him, I was like, hey, you made a Big 12 title game in your first year in Arizona. First year Arizona has been in the Big 12. Like, what's that mean to you? And he goes, well, candidly, like, growing up, I thought Oakland basketball was the pinnacle. Like, I didn't think there was anything bigger than Oakland basketball. So to be able to be out here and see kind of the levels to it, you see he's kind of taken in those emotions too. But overall, this team has been laser focused. I mean, I think, like you said, that game in Lawrence kind of woke them up a little bit. And now you beat Kansas in Kansas City. You beat a Texas Tech team that's certainly going to be a top 4 or 5 seed in the tournament. And these guys have been rolling off that confidence. And it from what I've seen in the locker room, obviously coming after 2 wins, it'd be hard to find a sad emotion. But a lot of them are saying they are locked in, focused, and they have bigger goals than just this title game too. Trey Townsend said the reason he transferred to Arizona was to make a Final Four, and hope they get to do it.
All right. Well, you get to come home tomorrow, I would imagine, right, Sean?
Yes. Tomorrow we got a late flight home, and as much as I love Kansas City, I don't love living in a hotel room for 2 weeks. So.
Did they send a photographer with you, or are they making you do it all by yourself?
No. I got a photographer with me.
Oh, that's
I'm not
awesome.
out here filming it solo. His name's Akeem. We've been doing great stuff, and like you said, even though we're leaving tomorrow, we still got the coverage on 13 News for our 5:30 and 10 o'clock broadcast tonight.
That's awesome. It makes it so much easier where they send that photographer with you. You don't feel like you have to go running around and doing it all by yourself. All right, so check out Sean Mahoney's coverage, KOLD CBS 13, and I would imagine you'll still see some of it on Fox 11 as well. On those newscasts as well at 9 o'clock and 5:30 and 10 over on KOLD CBS 13. Sean, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us and enjoy the game tonight. Let us know if you get any video or picture of Shaq.
Absolutely, yeah. If anyone wants any video or pictures, Sean Mahoney TV is my Twitter and Facebook handle. I'll be posting all along there, and thanks for having me on, David.
There you go, and he's posting some great game video. He's like me. He's posting that game video, breaking it down. I like that, Sean. Keep it up.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sean Mahoney from KOLD CBS 13. He's got your view. He does literally today have your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, serving Southern Arizona for more than 25 years.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
If you can't be at the game, then you should be at Dave & Buster's. It's the best place to eat, watch, drink, and play. Watch your favorite team throughout the entire tournament. Take a walk on the $1 Million Midway where you can play the biggest and newest arcade games. So when your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's. Watch all the sports you want. They have massive HD TVs, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything you need for your next remodel. Windows? Check. Doors? Got it. Cabinets, countertops, and everything in between, you'll find it all here at the lowest prices. Whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, or whole home makeover, our experienced designers are ready to bring your dream home to life, all at unbeatable prices. Find a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Donna Ogden Nation.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Kansas ball the other way, down by 11. And a steal by K.J. Lewis. Lewis going to streak the other way, lay it up and good. That'll put a capper on it.
Beautiful play there. What a way to finish it off. K.J. Lewis has played so well tonight.
Can K.J. Lewis continue that outstanding play that we've been seeing from him in this tournament? He has been fabulous as a sidekick to Caleb Love in these first two games. It is the Big 12 Tournament Championship coming up less than an hour from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Arizona, and number 2, Houston. Let's hear from K.J. Lewis, who is in a very short, succinct way says this is what we had on the agenda playing today in Kansas City.
You know, we had a goal this year to, get to this point, and we're going to do our best and execute a game plan to try to go win tomorrow.
Now, one of the other things we've been talking about a lot in terms of K.J. Lewis is obviously the injured hand that he's been dealing with. Apparently, he's had it wrapped up, taped up. Apparently, he took the tape off his hand during last night's game, and he was asked why he did that.
I can't even tell you. In the flow of the game, try not to be distracted by whatever, and doing whatever I can do to help my team win and not be distracted by tape on my wrist. So I guess screw the tape.
Again, I mean, that's injury situations. You know, we've seen guys wear masks and they'll try to play with it, and it's because they have a broken nose or something, and it just doesn't feel right. And they just take it off, and they said, I be damned, I can't play with this thing on my face. And clearly, it's a different feel when you've got tape on your hands, or you're not able to move your hand the way that you want to grip the basketball or that kind of thing. And so if at this point, guys, it's a pain tolerance thing. If it's not going to hurt it anymore, if it's just a matter of the tape keeps it stationary and keeps it from maybe popping out a joint or whatever. But if it's uncomfortable, you got to go with what makes you comfortable. And like we say, these are the gritty boys. Grit it out.
Yeah, you got to grit it out, man. And a lot of times it's more mental than anything, right? And so if your mind is telling you that that's not right, then, hey, get rid of it and, try to keep it pushing. But I think as long as it isn't something that, that could make you get re-injured, then I think you're fine.
Yeah, my dad was a very famous hand surgeon, guys, and, dealt with many athletes, many world-class boxers and football players who come into his clinic. And it's all about that. It's all about making sure that whatever movability that you have on your hand, it's restricting you from doing any further damage, if it's ligament issues or anything like that. The face is the same. Like if you have a orbital fracture or something along those lines, they'll put a mask on you just because if you get another hit in there, you could do some serious damage. But guys, how long has KJ had that wrap on? It's been 2 months?
Yeah,
it's been a minute. So you would think that the amount of time that's passed since he originally injured it. Now, I will say De'Aaron Fox has been playing with a little bit of injury on his thumb, I think, as well for the past 3 months. They just shut him down to have surgery because he has a torn ligament. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes with KJ's actual injury, and we probably won't know for a long time. But Kelvin, as long as the young man feels comfortable, wrap on, wrap off, he knows his pain tolerance, he knows what's going on out there. And really, the mobility of his gooseneck is really what it's all about. And you can see, last couple of games, he's shot more outside shots than we've seen previously. So it seems like he's been a lot more aggressive to me, Kelvin. So I think the hand's feeling a little better than maybe it did a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Sure.
520-848-1290, your final chance to shoot us a text or a message, your thoughts on what you want to see from your Arizona Wildcats in this ball game tonight. I want to go back a little bit and let you hear a little bit more from the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, Brett Yormark, on a few of the other issues that came up in his press conference earlier this week. The conference is currently at 16 teams. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Is expansion in the offing? Could we see this conference go to maybe as many as 20 teams? The commissioner addressed expansion from 16.
You've been very aggressive in expansion. Do you see further schools expanding to the Big 12 in the next few years? Or are you set with 16 teams right now at the state of the conference?
Well, I love 16. I love where we are, and it's taken its toll on the staff, to integrate everyone, although I think it's gone really, really well. Expansion isn't something that's on my radar right now for obvious reasons. But listen, this is an evolving landscape, collegiate athletics, and we always have to be ready. So I can't sit here and say we'll be 16 for the next 10 years. It'll all depend on the nuances in and around the Big 12. But I love 16, and I love our geographic composition, and I think there's a
All right, so that was Brett Yormark talking a little bit about the expansion of the conference. What about the expansion of the tournament, which currently is at 68 teams? Let's hear from the commissioner on that.
Brett, where are you big picture bracket expansion?
Listen, I'm in favor of expansion to 76. I think that's the right number. I think there'll be just some decisions over the next, 90 days, 60 days. I think the economics, candidly, have to work. CBS and TNT have a marquee asset with the tournament. I know they know that. But in order for us to expand, they have to come to the table and provide the right economics. No one wants to get diluted. And we've got a great asset here. So we'll see how it plays out. I know Charlie Baker and Dan Gavitt are working hard at figuring out, where we need to be, and they'll do the right thing. But the economics matter.
Yeah. He also indicated that he thought maybe as many as 10 more teams.
76, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably way more, I think.
Yeah, he said 76. I thought I heard that. I was like,
76 is the number he said, yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know about that. I don't know that I'm in favor of that. I don't know that I liked the extra 4 teams. I mean, I was fine with 64. I thought that was a good number. I get maybe a couple. Again, it's all TV driven. Now we can play 2 more games or whatever, many more games on Tuesday night and make it kind of a whole week kind of thing versus just Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. I mean, I think you dilute the regular season even more the more teams that you add to this event. All right, let's find out what the Wildcats need to do to beat one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealer that is different.
All right, guys, for me, I think it's simple. I think you got to outshoot Houston today. There's no question about that. This is one of those games where you got to probably make 10-plus more threes and hope that they don't match you in 3-point shots. So you gotta get those extra points with the 3 ball. I also think you've got to maybe force the issue and really try to make the referees call a lot of fouls in this game, because we know that what's your other strength? This is a very good free throw shooting team. So you got to try to get to the line as much as you can and drive up that score, because, again, the only way I think Arizona beats them, if you can get this game 70-plus, maybe even 70, it might even take getting it to 75-plus, that's going to mean that Arizona has a chance to win this contest tonight if they can drive the number up. And I think 3-point shooting and free throw shooting are the best ways to go for Arizona to try to do this today and pull this upset and beat the Houston Cougars. Kelvin.
I think right off the top, man, we have to guard Cryer, Uzane, and Sharp. We cannot let those guys get going. We have to really lock down the perimeter. Houston is the type of team that really is about their guards scoring. Their bigs are more about doing dirty work. We have to play through the fouls. We have to play tough through the fouls, through the double team, through the physical play. Can't look for fouls. If the ref call them, great, but you have to play through it as if the refs are not going to call it if you want to win a championship. And then guards have to be aggressive. This is a guard game. When you get to this level of the playoff, Houston is going to double everything that get close to the paint. I think our guys are going to be able to have to knock down some shots, either threes or get to that mid-range and get to that mid-range and hit some of them pull-up jumpers.
Yeah, as usual, I'm similar to you guys. Number one, I think you got to stay in front specifically of Uzan, because he's, again, the one who killed Arizona down the stretch in McHale. Really shifty, not an ultra-athletic guy, but his penetration late in that game versus Arizona and McHale was what led to that win. Stay in front of him, make sure that he doesn't get super open space there in the middle in the key. 50-50 balls is what Houston lives on. I mean, that's what they're known for. They're known for fighting for every single loose ball. You got to fight with them. So I'd like to see Arizona, as usual, do well on the boards. A +5, I think, would go a long way towards winning this. But mostly 50-50 balls, you got to fight for them. And Trey, Tobe, and KJ, and all the other guys, really, but those 3 guys specifically, bring the physicality to the University of Houston. I mean, they're going to be physical. They're going to trap hard. We all know that. Show them what's up. Show them what West Coast basketball is all about, Kelvin Yfan. Show them that this reputation is not true, and that we can bring as much physicality and intensity as anybody in the country, and that will go a long way towards winning their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Wow. I like that for sure. All right, that's what we think the Wildcats need to do to win this game today.
Wildcat fans, those are our keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different. The foundation of a great basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature.
Starting lineup for your Arizona Wildcats, Jaden Bradley, 6'3" guard out of Rochester, New York. He averages 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals per ball game. Caleb Love, coming off a 27-point performance, 6'4", fifth-year guard out of St. Louis, Missouri. 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per. Anthony Del Orso, 6'6", junior out of Melbourne, Australia. Averages 8 points and shoots 40% from 3. Trey Townsend at 1 forward, 6'6", fifth-year senior out of Oxford, Michigan. 8 points and 4 rebounds. Toby Awaka at the other forward, 6'8", junior out of Hyde Park, New York. 8 points and 8 rebounds per game. Tommy Lloyd is the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, and he'll be looking to try to beat another ranked team. Arizona is 6-2 against top 5 opponents under Coach Tommy Lloyd. That's the best winning percentage in the country over that span. Arizona and Houston. Guys, quick final thoughts.
This is the reason why you come to Arizona to play in the big games. You're in the Big 12. Your first year in the Big 12, so you're starting it out right for all the rest of the teams coming behind you. But now, just let your hair, let your hair down, man, and just go for it, man. I mean, again, you're playing a great Houston team. You're the 4th place team to get in. There's nothing to lose. Go in there and battle these guys and come out on the other side.
Yeah, they were 1 or 2 possessions away, guys, from winning that first game in McHale. Just like Kelvin said, this is why you come to Arizona. You're here to win as many titles as you possibly can. Like Coach Lloyd said, if we're playing a game, we're going to try to win it. Bear down.
All right, it is straight ahead. Arizona and number 2 Houston for the Big 12 Tournament Championship from T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Brian Jeffries and Reggie Geary will have the call. It is next. We'll talk to you after the game. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the post-game show. Bear down, Arizona. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne, the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Door and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management, wealth well managed, life well lived.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. 2 powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss
Chevrolet. Ready to score a new vehicle? Whether you are looking for a new car, truck, or electric vehicle, at Royal Kia, we know exactly what you want. A quality vehicle at a great price and to be treated fairly. We stand by our transparent online pricing, offer a 72-hour buyback guarantee, and you work with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $589 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus, or RoyalKia.com.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist here at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. If you're looking to find the root cause of your pain, any pain that's limiting your function, limiting the things that you want to do in life, call us at 520-229-2080 or find us on the web at desertskymedicine.com.
All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah. It's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Accidents cause hassles as big as the Grand Canyon.
So we're hitting the road to spread the word about the bird.
The Eagle at Goldberg and Osborne.
Freeway fiasco in Flagstaff.
Heard in Havasu.
Totaled in Tucson?
No worries. The Eagle has offices across the state. From Kingman
to Sierra Vista, where they fight hard to get you more.
So relax and ride on.
Because the bird is the word.
Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Most plumbing problems start with a 4-letter word: drip, leak, clog. Whatever your plumbing problem might be, you can trust Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to deliver fast, honest, and reliable service by a plumbing expert that will find the right solution for your plumbing problems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Motoring around one day, Bob heard all about it on the radio. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras for one low price, including valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. Bob knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. As cliches would have it, just then Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 locations and without hesitation claimed his new set of tires, installed for one low price, thingies included.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
This is University of Arizona Wildcat basketball. And this is the Big 12 Men's Basketball Tournament.